Hello, Twihards. Welcome back to the Whatever I Guess podcast. Episode 9, Twilight Saga, a review you can sink your teeth into.
Yes, Mark. Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
It's, I regret to inform you, we watched the entire Twilight Saga this week.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was actually fun.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think Jay was saying at first, like, why do we need to? And I'm like, why not?
Why not?
It's
Yeah,
fun.
Dude, first of all, I didn't even know there was 5 movies. 4 movies? 5 movies.
It's 5 movies, 4 books. So they did that, like,
Harry Potter.
YA thing.
Yeah.
Where they split the last book into 2 parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Lord of the Rings considered YA? Is that what they did on the...
Is that what did?
Well,
did
they split The Hobbit into 3 movies.
No, but did they split the last book into 2 movies?
Well, they split the first book into 3 movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I think it's a huge book. The Hobbit.
No, it's actually like the same or smaller than the other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was bigger. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's why it was so like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get on with it. Right now. So yeah, we're talking about the entire Twilight Saga.
Yeah. What is your experience with Twilight? How did you hear about it? What was your first impression?
Dude, I was like a 7th grader when this series came out, so how didn't I hear about it? Like,
Right. Every
girl, every single girl in like a night, bought this book, came to school, even like people who actively had said they don't read.
Mm-hmm.
We're like halfway done with this book.
Yeah.
And, the movie came out also. So, yeah, from a young age, I guess, like, we all knew about it. What else? Like, the movie was interesting. It's just, it kind of hits you with things that kind of don't make sense. Especially as, like, you're in middle school, you're not out critiquing movies.
Sure.
But I'm sitting there going, he's a vampire and he's living in the sun.
Everyone was just hating on it to hate on because it was popular.
Yeah, I definitely hated on it. But then looking back, I'm like, it's just a movie. Like, it's just entertainment.
Right.
But yeah, I think things that like were weird for me is like diamond skin. Why?
See, I didn't think it was that bad. Like,
why
just
is
the
he
concept.
Sparkling? Why is he allowed to live in the light?
I don't think it's that dumb. Like, I thought the concept was like, at least it's original, right?
Yeah.
But they are breaking all the vampire rules.
And I never really understood why vampires in general couldn't live in the light.
Mm-hmm.
I get the whole, dark and light, and they're like the undead.
They're nocturnal, so
yeah.
if they were to be exposed by sun, they'd be burst into flames and turn into dust.
I guess so, but I mean, like nocturnal animals don't die.
Yeah, no, but it's
that.
it's part of the legend. It's part of the myth.
Right. So I get those things and whatnot, but I think growing up it wasn't that impactful for me.
Sure.
I was surrounded by it.
Right.
So a little bit of like, shut up, and then a little bit of like, I'll go watch it. I'll check it out. But I thought it was fine at the time. How do you feel about it?
So for me, similar situation. Every girl was talking about it. Everyone read it. It was like never there in the library, apparently.
It was like always checked out?
It was always checked out.
I didn't know the library had a copy of it.
Oh, no, they would have like 3 copies or 4 of each.
Wow.
Because, like,
high demand.
High demand. No, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
librarians were popping off that year.
Right?
Yeah.
So everyone was reading those books, and I'm the type of person, okay, if it's not good, whatever. But if they enjoy it, I'm going to let them enjoy it. Like, that's how I've always been with a lot of media.
Sure.
Even if it's, like, quote-unquote, objectively bad, I'm like, whatever, let them enjoy. So that's kind of where it stayed until, like, I think it was because that's why everyone was getting into it, right? Was because the movies were coming out. And they're like, oh, I got to read all the books before the movies come out.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. But then the movies came out, and I'd watched some of these, and I was like, it's hilarious. I love it. This is fun.
I remember it being super awkward, but I couldn't really tell you why. I was like, why is this so weird? Why are they like talking all weird? Why don't they just like talk to each other?
The dialogue is strange.
Yeah, even the people that like lived in the town their whole life, like, why is it awkward? Why is it so?
No, because they don't talk like real people. Like, you listen to the dialogue in the movies, people don't talk like that.
Yeah, I know. Even if they're new at school, like, it's not that bad. Like,
where the hell you been, Loca?
Oh, make it go away. Make it stop.
So
So what happened?
nothing happened.
Nothing at all. That was
Nothing-
it.
no,
Everybody.
nothing
yeah,
at all.
that's it. You guys have. So that took up all of our 7th grade, and that's
Yeah,
pretty much
how
everything.
many hours was that? 6 or 7 hours of movie and nothing happened.
Totally forgettable.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next one, you
All
guys.
right,
Don't forget
bye,
to
guys.
like and subscribe.
Mhm.
And we're just kidding. We definitely have more for you. But you know what's funny? Something I just realized right now is I don't think we had a librarian at our middle school during my 6th grade year.
Mhm.
And not to say that it was because of Twilight, because I don't know. But I remember it being open all the time in 7th and 8th grade. But it was like completely locked for most of 6th grade. I don't remember it being open at all.
Mhm.
And then 7th and 8th grade, it was open during lunch, and you could just walk in and check things out and whatever.
Yeah.
So
You said you don't remember having a librarian?
we didn't have the library, it wasn't open. We had a fully stocked library, but it was like not, it was a locked room 24/7. Like we didn't have a librarian. Like
Oh, so
on
is
the
that
books.
why it was closed? Because you didn't have a librarian?
We didn't have a librarian. Like either we didn't have a librarian or they just were having other difficulties or something like that, like budget.
That's messed up, having a school.
But 7th grade,
books
like
and you couldn't get in there.
Literally massive turn of events, right? Everybody wants to read the Aragon books. Everyone wants to read the Twilight series.
Yeah.
And I just remember like 7th grade, it was open all the time. And then, you know,
The last year.
the swarm of every single kid had a copy of Twilight somewhere.
I almost want to go into the, why was your library closed?
Dude, we actually, fun fact about LA Unified during the 2008 housing crisis. I didn't have toilet paper at school for a year. Yeah. Guess how I found out?
Imagine how Bella and friends would deal with having no toilet paper.
I'll tell you how I found out that we didn't have toilet paper one day.
Oh.
Because of how you die in the Oregon Trail game. That's how I found out. But no, like for a whole year we had so little funding. We didn't have paper towels. Didn't have toilet paper. Like 95% of the time didn't have one or both. And it was god awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel bad for like little kids too. I hope they did.
Kids these days don't understand. Back in my day,
Back in my day.
we didn't have no fancy at-home learning. See, we went to school, we just used our hands for toilet paper.
Actually, real men. Real men.
Seashells.
Yeah. No, but I lucked out. We had paper towels the day we didn't have toilet paper that I needed it. So that was kind of funny. But
Improvise, adapt.
what's funny is like I don't hear other people having the same story, or maybe they didn't use the restroom at school.
Yeah,
or
I
something.
did not experience that. I did not.
Dude, literally at our school for almost 2 years, we had no materials outside of the classroom. It
That's
was
crazy.
insane. Yeah, it was insane. So 2008 house crisis was real. Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, so there's a crazy amount of characters. Not crazy amount of characters, but there's some characters in this movie.
There are some characters
these
in
movies.
And Bella's mom is not one of them. She's like
there. She's there.
She's like
She's
less
over
than
there.
a cameo, more than an extra.
She's there. She's there.
She's totally not there.
Renee. Renee is her mom in Arizona.
It takes longer to say Renee than it does of all of her camera time in the first movie. I swear.
So Bella, she moves from Arizona
Yeah.
to Forks because her mom's getting remarried to this baseball player,
And they're traveling.
and they're traveling around. So
Which is crazy.
Bella's like, "Hey, don't worry about me. I'm just gonna move to Forks with Dad, and you guys go live your life. I don't want to hold you guys back."
Yeah.
So that's what she does.
Yeah, I met a guy at a place I used to work who was like a G League baseball player, and that dude's schedule just to keep up with his like the physical component was insane. So I remember like watching this the first time and I was like, why is he traveling for baseball? He's not a pro. They don't live in this massive house. Like, what? And then funny enough, I met a guy who literally lives that life. And he's constantly at the gym, constantly trying out, constantly doing these yearly competitions to get into the MLB. And I'm like, dang, like that is serious business. And they spend a lot of money just trying to meet those basic benchmarks.
Dang.
So valid reason for him to be traveling and the mom going with him. But
Yeah, I guess that was it. Like that's all of her family.
Yeah, literally just picks up, leaves, and then like, you're
I
your
guess
dad's
there's
now.
I guess there's one instance of like, remember that dream sequence where she's like in a field and she sees her grandma over there. And she
Yeah.
goes up and she's like, "Grandma," and she's like, "Oh no." They do this mirror artistic thing,
It's like,
and
that's you.
that's her.
Yeah.
But Edward's still Edward, young, and she's old, and she has a nightmare about it. Basically, like, oh no, am I gonna be with this man forever, and I'm gonna be an old lady? I need to be
Like him.
like him.
Yeah. And, they're barely dating.
Yeah,
And she has this fear of God, aging. That's healthy.
yeah. At
Dude.
17 years old, she's feeling that way.
The amount of unhealthy relationship red flags in this movie series is ungodly.
Do you think you would rather?
I would die
Would you
for
live
you.
in Forks or would you rather live in Arizona?
Considering that I've traveled a bit in Oregon
Mm-hmm.
and then traveled a lot in Arizona, I think I'd rather live in Arizona for
Sure.
like the life pace.
Yeah,
And
I feel like it'd be too
lifestyle.
sleepy over there in Forks.
I love like the
Hustle and
well, I've been
bustle.
in Oregon. I haven't been in Washington because it's in Washington, right?
Yes, Washington.
Oregon is super rainy all the time, and like I can't do it. I love that weather, and it feels great, and the foliage is amazing. But like, it's so depressing. It looks like you're in a movie when you're driving through, and then you're like, "All right, I get it. Like, when's the sun coming out?" And they're like, "Well, only for like a month out of the year." And you're
Yeah.
like, "No, really?" And they're
That's
like,
crazy.
"No, really." I'm like, How do you raise a family like being like that? Like
I'd be so
vitamin D
Yeah,
deficient.
exactly. I'd be so like lethargic all the time.
Yeah, it definitely makes you like lazying around on a weekend. Best place to go for like week long trip. But like day to day, nah. I'm already telling you. Like I'm different when I'm outside already. So if I was like that 24/7, I'd be like, not for me.
That's why people get depressed in places like that.
But you become a lizard also in the desert. You go outside. You can only be outside for like a second. And
Right,
you run back
right.
in. Yeah. So
That's good and bad.
yeah, just stay in the shade.
So in
on.
Forks, Washington, Sheriff Charlie Swan.
Yeah.
This is Bella's dad. I thought it was interesting because Bella didn't grow up with Charlie. She calls her dad Charlie.
Yeah, I think that's weird, dude.
It's weird to call
He's
your
your
parent
dad.
by their first name,
Yeah.
even if you didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
If
it
you're
doesn't
cool
seem
like
like there's
that.
animosity.
No, there's not.
The
There's
mom
not.
just had custody or something. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe he's got to earn dad, and it's not that big of a deal.
Sure.
But it is weird. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd hold it over my own kid's head. I would just be like, that's odd.
Yeah.
My name is Anthony, though. So
I
go
guess
for
you
it.
could go for it.
Yeah, like have fun.
But he's a cool guy. I immediately was like, he's so cool. He's so understanding. He just wants to be there for Bella.
Yeah, he's like a rough and ready father. Like
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I can do it. Like I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
But he's
No,
not
no,
he's
no,
not
worry.
amazing.
What do you like? What do you like? I asked the girls at work to put your room together. What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually really smart. Name one guy that wouldn't think of that. Yeah, that's I don't know. I think he's a good dad. I think it's because she's in high school, so you get a lot of awkwardness between her and her dad, and so you purposefully don't have a lot of father-daughter bonding and sweet moments and all this stuff. So it's very disjointed and it's very like separated.
But like the awkwardness is
But-
actually like realistic.
It is-
Out of all the dialogue and interactions, like between Charlie and Bella is like actually realistic.
Yeah, and then what's cool is like there's really no signs of him having any stupid issues or something.
No, not really,
He's
no.
literally just like the good cop,
Regular man.
loves his town, and he has his steak and whatever every
Every
Thursday
Sunday.
or
Oh,
Sunday,
every Thursday,
whatever
yeah.
it is. Yeah, once a week he has the exact same routine. It's like I'm not even gonna lie, dude. Like I get ramen once a week because it's like therapy. Like usually like a Thursday, Friday end of the week, or if I'm having like an annoying day, no matter what my plan is, I'll just like go get ramen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. Instead of me being home at this time, I'm hey guys, I'll be home at this time. I go get ramen. I chill there for like an hour, chat up the regulars.
Yeah.
And then I go home and I'm like,
See, when you live in a small town like that, like you kind of need that. That's part of your routine.
I think it.
Right.
You know, they say like it takes a village to raise a kid, right? But I
Mhm.
think it takes a village just to like live. You know, like you
Yeah.
can be a little antisocial, but everybody's got.
No,
their
you
little-
need to be out and about every week.
Yep.
There was a cute thing. I forget what it was. Was it blueberry pancakes he has every week?
I think it's something like that. Yeah.
Like, it
or
was-
it's like
it was-
strawberry syrup or something.
Something
or,
like that.
Yeah,
It was Bella's favorite thing, and he
Oh, yeah.
has it every week.
Yeah, I thought that was a great little like I love you
Yeah.
gesture.
I was like, he's been away from his daughter since she was 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
and he still has it every week to think about her.
Yeah.
That's
You know, to jump way ahead only to describe something like all the way at the beginning.
Mm.
You know how his girlfriend's like, oh, we made some arrangements at work.
Yeah.
And like he's able to go on this 5-day fishing trip or whatever.
Mhm.
Couldn't make arrangements to go visit his damn daughter. Or maybe he did, but
well, the woman he's dating did that.
yeah, I know. So I guess it really took an external source.
Yeah, but he's a good guy. I'm glad that he found someone
Yeah.
in the end. That
So
was
am I thought it was kind of weird. Like,
what?
Like not him dating her because of who she was.
Uh-huh.
I just thought it was like out of nowhere a little bit.
Well,
But she walked up.
That's
you know.
Billy's sister, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Your best friend's sister.
It's really not.
No,
It's not.
like, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of friendship incest or whatever the term is, or
Right.
whatever. But like, what's funny is there's like a statistic that says like guys usually date more women or something like that, but women date. I don't remember what
not
it was.
out of the circle.
Essentially,
usually.
like every guy in the group, there's the odds are like the more guys in your friend group hit on the same girl, and there might be like multiple instances of that girl dating in the same group.
Mm-hmm.
So like when the numbers boil out, it's like guys usually have dated more women,
Mm-hmm.
but it's funny in like the way that works out. I'm trying to remember what the overall point is essentially, but it's like the dating pattern is like, it's not like guys are dating complete strangers
Sure,
and that's how
yeah.
they rack up their
Oh,
numbers.
okay.
It's more
Gotcha.
like guys are dating like people that they know.
Mhm.
And when you kind of flip the script and you're like, well, who are women dating? Like,
Yeah.
and it's usually like they're in the same friend group. So
Mhm.
there's like a closer knit pick than like going on the app, meeting somebody all the way across town you've never seen before. And yeah,
All right.
it's an interesting.
Okay, so for you
interesting
guys at
thing.
home, would you guys date your best friend's sister? Let us know in the comments.
I don't think any of my friends' sisters are even old enough or even single. So no.
Jacob Black.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Loco himself, the locomotive.
The locomotive.
Yeah, dude. I just made that up.
No, I like that. That's funny.
First movie, absolutely cringe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
first
it was-
2 movies, 3 movies.
No, okay. It's cringe, but
At
like
least
it's like understandable. Like I feel like a lot of guys were like that. We're like, I like this girl. Let me,
Golden Retriever gets a
yeah.
crush.
Let me be like, oh, aren't I fun to be around? Let's do it. Yeah.
You gotta love him. You gotta love his.
We
his,
used to make mud pies together. Remember?
You gotta. I don't know. You gotta love. What's the word? You gotta love his spunk.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of spunk. First movie was really tough to watch when he was in the shot. It was so rough, dude.
I don't know. I thought it was just a guy into a girl. But he's
Yeah.
like kind
This is where it's like, what guys are actually creeps and what guys don't know how to socialize.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
he's
not
not
a creep.
He's not a creep,
But it's
he's
so
like,
weird.
He's young. He was
so
16.
Goofy, yeah.
Yeah, 15, 16. He was
Yeah.
like, kind of.
How'd you
Hey,
feel?
Bella.
How'd you feel about Jacob kind of progressing? Like,
Is he progressing?
I actually don't think so.
I was kind of sad for that. I think I liked his kind of fun-loving thing, and he kind of like he had to deal with all that Wolfpack stuff, and he was like,
In a weird way, it's very much like puppy turns into not
Yeah.
puppy.
yeah,
And
that's pretty much
it's
what it is.
pretty drastic
Yeah.
too. So I don't know. That scene where he's undressing is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Of all the scenes where they care about the clothes, why of all the times they could have spent the extra couple seconds to take off their clothes first, I don't know why.
What do you mean?
I feel like there's so many. I feel like there's other instances in the story where they could have been like taking their clothes off first and then turning into the dog, and they literally just waited the entire saga to do it at this moment.
For comedy, they drawn it out. Yeah, they drawn it out.
Yeah,
because they're like, all right, Charlie, I got to tell you something. It's like,
yeah,
and he's like, Jacob, put your clothes back on. Jacob, wait.
But I mean,
Jacob, stop.
Even when him and the bros are like messing around, like they could like, I've seen it in movies too. People just throw off their shirt really fast and get into it, and it's like, come on,
but they were
a whole set of clothing.
They were hamming it up, for the audience at home.
I
They're
guess
like,
they had to.
It's like, oh no, what's he doing?
Like,
what's Jacob doing?
Charlie, you don't know the world that you live in.
You don't know the world you live in. As he undoes his pants.
I thought that line was so well done.
You don't know the world you've been in. I'll put you in a whole new world
I'm gonna
after
rock
this.
your world. Dude, check out this windmill. Edward's family.
Dude, there's a lot of them.
It's deep. I wish you got to see a little more of the extended family too. That you see in the
they're like movie. Another clan.
Yeah, because like some of their powers are kind of like completely different. And, like wacky, but like immediate family.
Yeah. So
how do you think about
when
Esme?
they first walked up into that cafeteria, I was like, so everyone thinks this is cool. There's this doctor that just adopted like 6 or 7 children, and
similar
they're all
age,
dating each other.
Yeah, and that's fine, and they all live together.
Yeah, and they all live together. I'm like, this man is doing something shady for sure. All my alarm bells would be going off.
No.
Y'all have the same last name.
No. He donates a lot to the PTA.
Oh, so it's okay. It's all good now.
Nobody.
So if you donate a lot to the PTA, then you could do
course.
whatever you want. Have a bunch of 16, 17-year-olds date each other under the
They're
same
like,
house.
ooh, you got another one? Which would be so. I guess he should adopt in twos.
In twos? That must have been what. Well,
no, it wasn't. No. He saved people as needed throughout time.
Right, that's right.
And then I have a feeling like based on the history of each character, some fell off, some stayed. Like some were like they're like, oh, the vegetarian thing makes sense.
Yeah.
And some of them were probably like, this is bogus.
Like Jasper's the newest one.
Yeah, but I have a feeling there's
War.
a vetting period.
Okay.
Yeah, I am going to go out on a limb and be like, I haven't read the books, of course, but I'm pretty sure him biting people wasn't 100% security that like they were willing to follow his way of being a vampire, because they all have their own individual urge.
Right.
So just because he saved them doesn't mean that they aren't thirsting or.
You don't think? Oh, so.
I
guess we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But like, for some reason, I thought they've been vegetarian for like the last 100 years or something, and Jasper is like only in the last 50, or I don't know, or maybe they found Jasper way later.
Well,
right?
Jasper became a vampire in like the 1800s.
Yeah, but
he became a vegetarian
like maybe
within
in the last year or so.
Something, like that, yeah.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying is like he's corralled those types, and he's also taken in ill victims and whatever. But I'd be willing to go out and say like there are vampires that he was thinking about taking in or like grooming to come into his little family that decided not to. Who and it doesn't necessarily make him a bad vampire.
Sure,
if they crave human blood or whatever.
Yeah,
they could.
Yeah, because when they recruit a bunch of people, they're still eating people. Yeah,
and I'm not gonna lie either. Like, I don't know. They're vampires. They have cravings.
Sure.
So like to crave the human is kind of like. If your favorite food's ice cream and you never ever eat ice cream, bro, just a scoop a month isn't gonna kill you. Or
right.
Week,
Right.
This is their nature. But yeah, let's talk about Alice.
Alice, my favorite member of the Cullen family.
She is pretty damn cool.
I like that. She's pretty and cool, and she's pretty cool.
She looks like Kate Beckinsale in that photo. Like this, I'm just
beautiful.
realizing that right now.
Yeah.
She looks like Underworld on a stroll,
I like that necklace thing that she's got in the choker.
Oh,
it's nice.
It looks like a mask or something. Well, at least from here. But
So I like her power. See the future. That was really helpful for like the whole series.
yeah, and what was weird is like at first it seems like it happens all of a sudden. Like it's kind of like that's so Raven, like it just hits her.
Yeah.
But what I thought was kind of something that I wish had a little more explanation is that it seems to be whenever she wants and all the time. Like
Yes,
people
like,
go up to her and be like,
either
"What do
come
you
to her-
see?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, let me just check."
Yeah.
So then out of nowhere, like she'll just pounce in front of people before they knock. She'll be at the door.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that started happening later in the series.
Mm-hmm.
But like initially, it was like it didn't seem like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like it came to her maybe once every couple days. She had a little tidbit thrown in there, and she'd be like, "Oh, okay." And then by the end of the movie, they come out of the woodwork, like literally, you know, they come out of the woods, and she's just like, "Here, I'll just show you what the future could look like."
So her and Jasper were like hiding,
Yeah, because I think,
and in that movie,
yeah. Why do you think they were hiding?
they were hiding because of the Volturi, right? They were like, they wanted like out of the whole Cullen family, they wanted Edward and Alice the most. So like they're like, I think they valued Alice a little bit more because of her power.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, let's just go into hiding just so they won't come after us because we're the most targeted right now.
I think it could have been explained better.
I feel like they said we might have missed it.
We might have missed it, but it just like, I don't know. I just think like, if the Volturi know, well, they know that the kid existed, right? Or no?
They do know because of their one friend or relative like ratted them out.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's their whole focus, regardless of where Edward or Alice is.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see why it's a big deal. You know?
Yeah, it's just kind of Alice ex machina.
I guess so. Yeah, it would have kind of been cool to see what they were doing, if they were doing other things or if they were just hiding.
I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else is on there? The Volturi. Yeah.
Yeah. There was like 2 I remember by name.
2,
but they're
yeah,
cool.
Arrow.
I mean they're cool in that like there's a big like conglomerate to take down, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, we don't want to cross them. They basically set all the rules for the vampire world.
Yeah.
You break any of their rules, they'll come find you and kill you.
So Arrow had the cool power where he could like, he sees everything you've experienced and like your memories.
Yeah, I think you can also just offer it up to him as well. So if you, I think like if you're thinking about it, it's like, hey, read my mind. Here it is.
Oh, I see.
But then I'm sure he could push past it and be like, what'd you eat for breakfast yesterday?
Or like Deep Dark Secret or
A deeper secret. Yeah.
yeah. What is what's his henchman's powers?
I don't think we know. I don't think it was either said or, but they've got a few people under their belt that like they could do whatever, they could do any number of things. But yeah, for just him, like he had a pretty good one.
Yeah,
He basically was a lie detector, you know?
That's and I can kind of see why he's kind of the kingpin because he's like no BS.
Yeah.
What's interesting too is his demeanor. Like he's extremely calm, and then he seems like super unreasonable towards the end. For no reason. Like Alice, is like, "You're gonna do it anyway."
Yeah.
And it's like, is he just?
It was an irrational fear because she even showed him like there's no harm will come to us. Our secret's not gonna be exposed. They're gonna live a long, happy life, and nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I'm still scared."
I think he's just like he is literally holding on to what he knows, and even with proof. Even with proof, yeah.
But here's the thing: Alice is not 100%, so maybe he was like, irrationally still scared of that. It's like, well, you never know. Yeah.
I just like.
Was he a good villain?
Up until that point, yes.
Up until that point,
yeah, I think he was a great villain.
I would have respected him if he's like, all right, I guess we won't fight then. All right.
Well,
Take
the
care,
whole
Collins.
fact that it was like and then I woke up and it was all a dream.
Yeah.
The fact that they played that with the plot of like the huge buildup was so disappointing.
I remember that.
Nobody wants Carlisle to die.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna bring up. I'm like, okay, well, Carlisle's not dead. Great.
Yeah, and then was it Leia? Is that her name? Leia lived as well.
Leia
sacrificed herself.
Leia sacrificed herself.
Yeah,
to save Bella.
So like, but like, he seems more formidable for more justifiable reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, give me what's a character like Thanos? Is Thanos really a villain? Like, he has a just cause.
Yeah.
And he has a method.
Okay.
And is he a villain? I don't know about villain, but is he doing it the right way? Maybe not. You know, like.
Well, he's just, what Arrows...
He was being a villain.
He was being a villain. At that moment, yes. But
he seems
then...
He seems like a just cause kind of guy.
Sure. But, okay. But up until then, they were like, just, we're just keeping power, Make sure those humans stay where they're at.
Yeah.
And to keep power, you gotta keep our secrets.
For somebody who knows everyone's inner thoughts, it's weird to me that he doesn't see what their intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of them seem to be thinking about becoming the kingpin of the universe.
Well, that's the thing. He touches all these people, and he's like, all right, you're loyal. All right, you're loyal. All right, you're loyal. Cool. And then that's why no one really moves against him, because only the people who are loyal to him stay around him.
Right, or in contact, or all these things. I don't know. I just felt like it was such a...
All right,
Jane. Our little Cat in the Hat. the henchman, or the...
Yeah, basically the executioner,
Yeah, she's the...
You throw her at the problem.
What do you call her? It's not your right hand. It's your dirty worker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the executioner. Yeah, I guess.
Jane inflicts the pain.
Yeah.
I did not like her character in this series. I thought it was so...
Yeah.
One note.
Yeah,
didn't really talk. Nope. That was it. I don't like... Nothing was really scary about her because she's only a single target damage.
Sure.
And then you have somebody who like controls the elements. Well, that's insane.
Mr. Robot.
How come he's not on the panel?
They couldn't... I think he's probably like one of the ones that they wanted, and they just... Yeah. He didn't want to. They're not going to take someone if they don't want to join.
Or the smoke guy seems more crazy because he could probably kill
her brother?
Bunch of people at once.
Yeah. Well, he can't kill. He just kind of takes away like 3 of your senses.
Oh.
He doesn't kill with the smoke.
Oh, that's him. Okay, I don't know why I got him mixed up with somebody else.
So Jane's brother like takes away your sight,
your hearing, your feeling.
And your feeling.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, that's pretty good if you just need to like incapacitate a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like that's a good way to do it. You can do it to vampires too.
Yeah.
And how hyper sensitive they are. But like that's a big debuff.
Yeah, so I don't know, it's just like she's way less formidable than her. But I guess the thing is also it works on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it nullifies them.
Yeah.
So there's that. Plus, I couldn't help, also completely off topic, couldn't help but put the Cat in the Hat picture on there.
Yeah.
Just an absolute contrast to the role that she played in this movie.
I just imagine this is actually canon to Twilight.
This is canon to Twilight, yeah. Mm-hmm. This is what she was, and then she grew up as a control freak. Mm-hmm. And then things happened. She got involved with the wrong crowd one night, and then just went... I guess it went north or south, or it went south from there. It went. Did she go north. Up in status, or did she go down in status by becoming a vampire?
Right.
Yeah. So that's everything we have on the characters.
Yeah.
I think also too, like, I don't know if there's too much to say more than like the Cullen family, other than Carlisle and Alice.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got their like personality.
Yeah,
like everyone has their own thing. We can, when we get into the tier list, like we can talk about like specifically.
We will definitely pick.
Yeah,
apart.
So later on we'll rank these guys again.
Yeah,
we love doing that.
Yeah.
Emmett, Jasper, Rosalie.
Yep. But right now we're going to talk about the general story of each movie, and I guess just our general takeaways from that.
Yeah.
How we thought, whatever. So the first movie, Twilight. This one was my aunt. My aunt passed away a few years ago, but I watched this when I visited her, and dude, she had like the funniest random things to notice about the movie. Like when I was in so I was like 8th grade or something when I visited her. She lives like other side of the country, and she's just like, the makeup is so poorly done in this movie, and I didn't have any sense of like what good or bad makeup was, like unless it was like super
Atrocious,
obvious,
like obvious,
old Snapchat video like quality filming versus a movie, like that's obvious,
right?
But like, you know, makeup subtleties, like they're like, oh, you know, they didn't paint the white down their neck, so you look at Edward's neck and it's like human tone, and then like his face is like pale white. Yeah, and then every vampire had that same problem.
Yeah,
like especially you can kind of tell with I think Rosalie the most. Rosalie and probably Edward. Yeah, they had the most like noticeable. Really looking at their necks. So. No, I know, but I can't unsee it now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and then there's something about the first movie. It just looks like a high school project.
Yeah.
The way it was.
I mean, filmed. Was it a huge budget? It wasn't a huge budget.
Big for our wallets.
I think. Sure.
Jay,
I mean, in Hollywood times.
What was the funding for
37 million, did he say?
I believe it was 37 million.
Yeah, 37 million, I think.
That's more money than I could put into a movie.
Sure, but I think that's kind of low for...
That's not a lot. I can,
hold on.
What was the Endgame worth? Million. Like, Endgame was worth, like...
How much Endgame's budget was?
Yeah, what was their budget? Because I know they... Did they make...
Endgame's budget was 356 million.
And they made like 2 billion or something on...
Probably. Billions for sure.
Yeah. And I think the 2 billion is revenue. I don't think that's profit.
2.8 billion.
Yeah. I think that's revenue, not profit. So it doesn't account for expenses and distribution costs.
Right.
And
so profit was 890 million.
Yeah. So still nearly $1 billion. So that's insane to just 3x.
Sure. Well, you know, one thing about makeup, though, I feel like no one notices this, but with the vampires, at least for Edward, they like brush up on their eyebrows to make them more bestial.
Yeah, like feral looking.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's cool, even though they're so prim and proper to kind of show, because they don't do the teeth thing, which is kind of strange. They don't have fangs and stuff, but to, you know, I like this to make them a little bit monstrous. Is like, yeah, just put up their eyebrows a little bit. They bring them out. I don't think I saw it.
When they are...
Like, I've seen, like, pictures of, like, people comparing the fangs in vampire media.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, for Twilight, they do not pop out fangs. Like, I know other media, they got, like, two like, in here, these ones. So, the canines or the incisors.
But even when you see them bite people, you see the canine imprints way more distinctly. Like all the bite scenes.
I can't say that they do. They look like human.
In there, the first Twilight movie ended up making 407 million.
407. Yeah.
Profit or revenue?
That was total revenue. Twilight.
Dang, they did better than Endgame.
Well, let's look at profit.
That's just a tip for everybody out there to spend the least amount of money on something that you have no idea that will become ultra successful, and then become a billionaire overnight.
I mean,
easy.
Sure. The books were really popular, right?
Could do it in my sleep. They could too, but you know they don't sleep. So the vampires,
right? So in the book, in the beginning, she moves to Forks. She's like the new girl. All the boys all the boys at school are like super interested in her because she's the new.
I couldn't tell if they were bullying her or if they were into her.
Well, like they were kind of bullying her in the beginning, and then like all the boys who end up being her friend circle like are into her. There's what's his name?
Even the jock. Oh, I guess because he asked her out.
Yeah, Mike, right?
Mike. Yeah.
Mike asked her out. His name's Eric, I think. The Asian guy he's a reporter. He's a writer on the newspaper or something like that. Yeah,
he's an editor or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Eric, I believe his name is. And so she's into her too. And then even, well...
That was a weird one.
Oh,
I didn't get the sense that
the
he was. I thought he was just overbearing. Like,
the black guy who like clowns on her truck.
yeah,
Like he clowns on her for a truck, but then later like steals a kiss on her cheek.
yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
That one was super weird. Super weird. Yeah.
It's like, okay, he's that kind of flirt. He's that kind of person.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that. That's not good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. But it was funny too when he was making fun of her truck. I'm gonna be honest. My takeaway was like, I can't tell if he was making fun of it or if he was trying to be like, "Welcome to the school." Nice ride.
No, he was definitely. I think the tone there was he was making fun of her truck.
That's what I think that he was supposed to do as an actor.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel 100%
Okay.
rightfully put.
I think it could be like that in between where it's like, hey, nice truck.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's not that nothing to worry about. Like,
Yeah.
kind of just stupid things to say
yeah,
in high
just
school.
a dumb thing to say. But everyone like clowns on her truck.
How did that movie end again? So like she finds out.
She finds out.
And I do kind of like the whole research trail she goes on. And all
Yeah,
that
that's
stuff.
fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
Going on Bing.
Mm-hmm. Going on Bing, and then how does it end? They're driving back. She's like, "You have to be a." He's
Yeah.
like, "I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
We don't have.
You
food."
don't. You're cold to the touch.
Yeah.
What else did she say?
She's like, "You're cold to the touch, and
You're
never,
impossibly fast and strong.
Yeah, and you don't hang out at school when the sun's out.
And that's right.
Yeah, all these other things.
It's like you're a lich.
You're a lich. He's like, I have sleeping problems. I have a. He's like, I'm sick.
No, but that's kind of corny. But like it's a big reveal.
It is
vampire.
Huge. Yeah, I don't know. I like the build up. It was very tensioned, and a little spooky. Even
Like they don't
everybody
say the
knows.
word vampire until then.
Yeah. He's
Like, that's-
say what I am. Shut up.
Say my name.
Shut the hell up, Edward, dumbass. Turns out to be a really nice guy. With
Yeah.
Good values.
He was very
Patient.
overprotective, but also like possessive, right? From out the gate, he was like very interested in her because she intrigued him. Like he tells her, "I can read everyone's mind except yours. Why is that? It doesn't help that you smell delicious." Like, so he's like super obsessed with this.
What's
girl.
weird too is like, how is somebody your prey
And your lover.
and you're attracted to them? Like, that's kind of weird.
You
Yeah.
can watch Beastars and then.
I need to watch Beastars.
I'm
I'm gonna start looking at cheeseburgers
We
differently.
should definitely do a review of that. In the comments down below.
I watched the anime. We could talk about it.
I love that. Watch the
You guys are
Beastars.
doing that episode. I'll watch it with you, but
Yeah.
that would be a hard one for me to
I
watch.
need Anthony to do it. I need Anthony.
I
will-
You're gonna. Do you guys remember? If anybody's watched Lucifer, when he like looks into your soul and burns your eyes out of your head.
I've never seen it.
No, so he like looks into your soul
I know
and,
Ghost Rider.
and then you're like, oh no, is it Ghost Rider?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider. Why am I thinking? Well, they do
Independence Stare.
they do a similar thing with I think Lucifer. Anyway, Ghost Rider is what I'm thinking of, where he looks into your eyes. That's what's gonna happen to me after I watch Beastars.
Yeah.
That's gonna.
What are you
be me.
afraid of?
Yeah, what are you afraid
What
of?
are you afraid of becoming a furry?
Yes. I'm not afraid of furries or become like. Well, I'm not gonna become one, but
You say that.
it's the I've watched part of Beastars and I'm
Yeah.
like, get this out of my face. Whatever. That's what I think of Beastars.
Yeah.
That's my Twilight.
See,
take.
no, see, that's what it is. It looks like disgust on the outside, but it's like he's actually holding back his
Drool.
he's holding back his drool.
And then there's a review on this movie online where this guy's like, they have the wings in the background of whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're trying to make him look like an angel.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that is the worst portrayal, trying to make him look like an angel. If they're trying to
Oh yeah, why this
sneak
scene? This shouldn't have been the scene
that's
to
why I was just so
portray him
displaced.
as an angel.
This movie was so well made. So well made.
Everything's so blue.
I don't know how to describe what the quality is, but like the scene for scene shots look like a professional movie. But the accuracy of the continuity, like The scene where he says like, "Hey Bella, nice truck," he's wearing a sweater vest, and then when it pans to her going like, and she's walking away, he's wearing like a hoodie, one solid color hoodie.
Really?
In the same 1 second, he switches outfits. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's all kinds of stuff like that throughout the whole movie, and this is like, I don't know how to describe it, but like those types of details they completely screwed up on.
Mm-hmm.
But like shooting the actual movie, like it looked like a professional movie. That's why I'm like 37 million. Like that doesn't surprise me. It looks really well.
I think they
set up, but not well executed.
So the filmmakers on this, like the director or whoever, like they did it professionally, but like
did it well.
The people who were supposed to like
make sure everything was the same.
Continuity, like whoever
plot,
that
the
one
writers,
dropped the ball, the writers.
Where you been at, Loca? Get out of here, dude.
I mean, with your hair like this and my hair like this, and Jacob and Edward
hey,
situation
actually,
over here.
Dude, somebody said I look like Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
In what universe? He's not an unattractive dude. I don't take offense to it. Do I look like Robert Pattinson?
That forehead,
No.
maybe.
If you gave a
Forehead
percentage
only.
of similarity, what would the percentage be for you?
It'd be
Whatever the amount the top of your head kind
the
of
top of your head only. It's your
literally
hair and
this
forehead.
or like this.
It like that.
This?
But even then, he's got a flatter forehead. You're more like round.
What are
He's
you
got
saying?
like a wider
What
one.
do you say, Mark?
What
Just
you've
say
got
it.
a
No,
different
I know,
forehead.
I know what you mean, Mark. I know what you mean.
You've got a narrow forehead, Anthony.
Alright, we gotta get a direct look at it, the individual cam.
Dude, I
Side
don't-
by side.
I've gotten the weirdest, Anthony. You look just like this person. I get Elon Musk. I've got Zac Efron multiple times. Channing Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting allotment of people there.
I
I'm
can
getting a
see
lot of
Channing.
Elon Musk now. That's the one that
No,
makes
that's
me
just
laugh.
that's I don't know. It's hair. It's literally the.
I
poof.
think it's literally.
just the
I'm a
poof.
white guy with dark hair. I
It's
think
the
that's
poof
literally
of
what
hair
is what's
here.
doing it.
That's literally
Maybe.
all it is.
People need to see past the hair, man.
Yeah.
Twilight 2.
Twilight 2.
The Twilightning.
Electric.
Yeah.
Bella Lou.
Jay, get us to New Moon. Let's see this business here.
New Moon.
Yeah, you can click the next one. Yeah. How do you feel about New Moon? This is basically the whole movie. It's just
Yeah.
Taylor Lautner without a shirt.
Yeah. Pretty
in
much.
Heat. And he was in Heat.
In Heat.
He was definitely in Heat. He's been in Heat since the first movie.
He was a puppy then.
It's okay. Early bloomer.
Early bloomer. Yeah. So in the second movie,
Dude, look at the triceps on that doll, dude.
yeah.
You can see it. You can see it from... You can see the triceps behind his bicep. Oh, it's an actual Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I saw the pink label at the bottom earlier, and I was like, isn't that a Barbie thing?
Yeah, yeah. I noticed when you put it up.
It looks, no offense, it looks kind of cheaper than a Barbie doll.
No, it is.
Typically.
I think they don't specialize in
Well, the
in
Ken
guy
dolls and stuff.
Well, I think what it is they kind of slapped it together. They didn't really like put in a lot of work on that. Yeah, I mean, if it was
kinda
something
what
as
that
big
looks
as Twilight, I feel like you should put more effort into it.
Especially with the success of New Moon. New Moon was super successful. All right.
So in the beginning of this movie, they Edward comes to Bella and's like, "Hey, we gotta leave," and she's like, "All right, I'll just tell Charlie." And she's like, "No, the Cullens, me, my family, we gotta leave. You stay here. You're gonna be in danger. We gotta just skip town. Goodbye. Things will be better for you. Don't think about me too much." And then he's gone for most of the movie.
Which is exactly how you get a girl to want you more.
Yeah,
You just
take her to prom
just manipulate her, and then
leave forever.
my God, and then leave forever.
And then
And then also show up when she's about to make bad decisions and
Yeah.
remind her what she could have.
because he's made such an impact on her that she's seeing
him?
hallucinations of him.
That's how you know you have a problem. That's how you know. Whether he's a vampire or a magician or a forklift driver, whatever. If mans be doing that to you, it's not good.
What am I? Say it, forklift driver.
That's pretty good. What am I? Say it. Night shift.
You're tired during the day, and you're awake during the night.
And you're always so cold. I work in the refrigerated section.
You're impossibly strong. You can lift like 2 or 3 pallets.
You're really fast. We have to move a lot of. We have a lot of logistical traffic. So, Edward's gone. But not really, because we can't tell if he's able to just talk to her.
No,
or
he's definitely not there.
I thought he was using like Alice to do that or something.
No, he wouldn't. No.
That's why I was like,
literally
it just felt unexplained.
Just her being obsessed with him. Yeah.
That's shockingly scary. Okay, and then Jacob's like,
let me
I see there's a slot open here.
Yeah.
And he's doing a really bad job. First of all, he cuts his locks. What's that about?
I know, right?
I actually kind of want to see what he looks like with the long hair and I don't know why everybody cuts their hair, or if it just falls off.
I saw some fan art where they kind of do this kind of like medium right here, and I thought it looked really good. I think he could have the longish hair, but not have this wig that he had going on.
Oh yeah, the super long.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And then I think they do like a flashback scene where like one of the chiefs does have the super long hair and turns into a werewolf, and then turns back.
I don't think it's related to that. It's sort of like a control thing. They just kind of, you're not free. You belong to us. You're part of a pack.
Gotcha.
Gotta look like us.
I could see that too.
Walk like us. Talk like us.
Plus, like, we made the point earlier, like, once you turn into a werewolf, like, if you have that gene, you're, like, really hot all the time.
Yeah.
So it probably adds to the discomfort. Like, just, like, it's warm.
That's true.
Like, little things like that. Like,
that makes sense.
You don't need more heat around you, yeah.
Have an in-universe explanation for having your shirt off.
Plus, I'll be honest, if he's running that warm, I can see why he was shirtless the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's just obnoxious. It's like surface level. You're like,
Well, it was also like he was kind of being, well, not kind of. He was being used by Bella.
oh
as
yeah,
in, like, oh, I'm lonely. Let's hang out. But then she was not interested in him at all. She was just kind of using him to like, let me get distracted. Do something reckless. Hey, Jacob, help me build these bikes.
at first, yeah. Well, like it's weird. It's kind of like overlapping. Like she's like, I got these dirt bikes.
But then she's doing it to do something dangerous.
Yeah, but they are actually enjoying each other's company.
They are.
So it like she does need to socialize and get out of the house because what did they date for?
They didn't date. They weren't dating.
Oh no, so she's known him for like, let's say 6 months, and then he leaves because she comes in the middle of the school year.
Okay.
So she's 6 months. She knows this guy. And then she knows him for 6 months. He leaves, and then she's stuck in her house, in her room for how many months was she in there? 5?
Yeah, about 5 months. So just 5 months, she was just in the depressive state. She wasn't actually stuck in her room. I think that was just an artistic way to be like,
I'll believe in the whole love at first sight
depressed.
thing. Like if if you're in the right group of people and you meet someone who just like, they also know the people that you like the most and you guys click. And
yeah,
I can get around with that. But known him for 6 months, grieving for 6 months, basically, seeing hallucinations of this person, like.
Yeah, so
outside,
that's what
she
she was doing reckless things in order to see those phantoms. Like that wasn't actually him. She was just having hallucinations. If I do something dangerous, I can see him.
That's
That's what she was doing.
And then Taylor Lautner's character, Jacob. Dude, Jacob is just being like, he's just a creep. Not a creep, but he's just obsessed, dude. Like I guess he's obsessed to her like she is of Edward.
Right.
So honestly, this whole movie is like a perfect little it's like a perfect little package of what not to do in a relationship.
Sure.
Any character.
So
then she sees Edward and he's like, I die for you.
There was a lot of
no,
this in the
Edward,
movie.
please stop. That's so unhealthy.
There's a lot of these situations in the movie
reading the book
where she like got an idea in her head. The first time, one of the first times Edward saved me was when there's a bunch of guys who were about to like attack me.
Yeah.
So if I go over there to those bikers, maybe Edward will show up. And her Phantom Edward is like, no, don't do it. And then she's thinking if she puts herself in danger, Edward will show up. So that's why she goes to those bikers. That's why she gets that dirt bike idea. She does the cliff diving thing.
The dirt bike thing could have been so fun, and she just made it like just tanked that one. The dude on the motorcycle one was weird. I guess it had to be though.
Mm-hmm.
The cliff diving one. Well, did she? She didn't actually go cliff diving.
She went and jumped because she thought Edward would save her. So
I guess so. Well, I know she did jump into the water, but I thought she would have done it earlier in the movie, I guess. But when she did do it, I wasn't really expecting it. I was like, why now? Like,
yeah, no, she was thinking like, if I do this, then Edward will come here.
Right.
Yeah, but Jacob was there to save her, and then
Victoria almost saved her.
Victoria
she came in clutch. She really almost helped out the whole plot.
MVP Alice was like, I saw you jump. Are you okay? How are you here? How are you alive? It's like, no, I was jumping.
For fun. For recreation.
Recreation, that's what she says.
What?
But like, wow,
what high
Alice is so
uses that word?
kind and loving. She came out of hiding to check if she was okay.
That's nice. Alice is a real one. Alice, this is why you made it. Made it to the top. Eclipse.
Yeah.
Edward's back.
Yeah. So at the end of New Moon, like, he was gonna go. It's a Romeo and Juliet. They even name drop Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, they do.
They're like, yeah. So Alice told me that she jumped off a cliff and she's dead. So I'm going to kill myself now, and this is it.
So many healthy.
And
signs.
Alice sees it and he's like, "Oh no, he's
Green
gonna reveal
flag
himself.
after green
The Volturi's
flag.
gonna kill him if he reveals himself." And they get in that car, and Alice is whipping around in the streets.
Does Arrow not see him? Oh, maybe he thought of that after he met with them.
Oh yeah. He asked to be killed. He went to the Volturi. He asked to be killed, and they're like, "No, your gifts are too important. Why don't you consider joining us?" And he's like, "No." And it's like, "Oh, well, what a shame. Sorry, can't kill you." And he was like, "Oh, well, I guess I'll do it myself."
Which sounds like a weird way of like, if you want someone to obey your rules, you might want to listen to that one. Right? Because he's still under their veil, so to speak. Right? He wants to die because things are so pent up.
Mm-hmm.
So not killing him will probably make him do something where he no longer wants to be involved with
But
you.
if you're selfish like the Volturi are, like, they'll be like, "No, he's gonna come around. He's gonna serve us."
I guess so. And if he doesn't, then you force him or kill him then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's very interesting. But then he has the idea, go outside.
He essentially pulled the vampire equivalent of suicide by cop.
Yeah.
Because it was literally like, hey, imagine going to the police department or like a government building being like, can you guys kill me? And then they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to work for us though? No. Okay, well, yeah, we're not killing you, weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, all right, fine, I guess I'll go take a bunch of hostages then. Or like, in this sense, break a rule that is literally like
a killable offense.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Dude, just be a real man. Just go up into like the craziest part of the state with the worst people and then just piss them all off.
Sure.
And then just like, ratata.
Fortunately, it wouldn't work because he's a vampire.
Exactly. He's a rock. He's stone. He is.
You just be like, hey guys, I'm gonna burn one of your houses down. Just make sure you splash this holy water on me and burn me, and then.
Hey, they don't even have that.
What's cool though, I will say, their vampire take in this series is like humans literally have no chance. There's no stupid like stab me with a silver bullet or stake.
Stab me with a silver bullet.
That would be impressive. Hey, if you were a human and you could do that,
Isn't being shot
maybe you
just
would be
being
stronger.
stabbed? Like,
Yeah,
isn't
really hard.
Really just like,
Really fast.
yeah, like
semi-blunt object.
You know, that'd be pretty.
if it's moving fast
hard.
enough, is anything really blunt?
It's like I gotta
Slice
hold this
anything.
bullet and I gotta.
Isn't a stab wound just blunt force trauma?
Just in a very fine point, yeah, right.
Pretty much.
Blunt but sharp.
So it's just like, I like that humans have no chance. There's nothing a human can do.
Yeah, that little girl was about to see him sparkle.
What's interesting too is like, especially they're like, oh, you know how like baby vampires are super ruthless.
Yeah.
There's no stopping them. They'll take out like cities.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised vampires in general haven't like taken over most of the world slowly.
What's the reason why they don't want to be exposed again?
They would, like, as a whole, they outnumber us, so they would like, they would take us out basically.
Plus, if it came down to it, right? Like if everyone knew vampires existed,
they would just take
always be on the
tanks
run,
and guns and
maybe, yeah. And then also like, I feel like it would come to a point where there'd be so much fighting, you might as well have to kill a lot of the humans, and then it's like, what do you do when there's a lot of vampires and not enough humans?
Mm-hmm.
And also, you can, I mean, like, let's take it back from a simpler perspective. Like, they could just be afraid to share, and there's no reason humans need to know.
I actually want to, you guys talk more about that, because it's like, now that you're mentioning it, I don't understand the inconsistency of, like, the vampires could just kill all the humans and then live off of animals. And if a child can take out a whole city, imagine if all the vampires just got together and were like, bullets aren't really effective against them, so what are you going to hit them with?
Yeah. Like,
so
nothing, I guess.
So I'm just like,
I guess there's...
What is the fear of them being found out?
I think it's literally just that. If they get found out, all the humans, like, with their military, whatever, their technology, like, Arrow was scared of that. Like, with their technology, they could take us out.
So
but
maybe...
they're, like, immune, essentially, to bullets and stuff. So
sure, but then if they had, like,
maybe
a tank, whatever you used...
They are kind of shown to be strong enough to, like, they probably...
You can shoot a vampire with a tank, and they would die.
I would even say, like...
Is, how are you going to hit it?
Exactly.
They have super speed, and it's like, maybe a vampire's not strong enough. Maybe they're not strong enough to punch through, like, an Abrams tank's armor.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, they're also human intelligent, so, like, they probably are strong enough to get on top of the tank and rip the hatch off the tank.
Yeah.
And then just kill everyone inside the tank, because you're not hitting them.
And then drive it.
And what are you supposed to do? You're not hitting them with a Predator missile.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the only thing you could potentially do is maybe you can launch a nuke at where these vampires are. But what if the vampires
actually...
it could just be a missile strike.
Wait,
it doesn't have to be...
What about set on fire?
Fire
that
as
actually would kill them.
Set on fire as well.
The thing is more of like vampires that get set on fire, right? In the movies, it's like you have to incapacitate them first.
Yeah.
Then set them on fire, because
they'll stand.
If you're not hitting them, if they're fast enough to be able to potentially react to, like,
they could do it.
You shooting at them with bullets.
They
and
could
other
do
stuff.
It. Yeah.
Napalm.
It's like, napalm. You'd have to hit them. The problem is hitting these guys.
I think it's just a numbers game. They, like, literally outnumber them, and if they find out, they can move against them very easily. Like it'll take time, but the humans will win.
Maybe the problem I'm having is, like, vampire child, uncontrolled, not thinking.
Back in the day,
take out an entire city on their own. So
yeah.
Police, paramilitary, anything that's there, apparently.
When they said city, you keep saying city, but it was like that one village back in the day. Yeah. So.
Here's my thing though, right? Is all they did, that baby was a
city?
It wasn't a city. He keeps saying city, but it was like the village, like
it was a town
200, 300 years ago.
Yeah. It was a lot of people though.
Yeah, sure. But they didn't have the weapons and technology we have now.
No, and literally you see him kill the baby. She picks him up and she's like, "No, baby, you're not supposed to do that." You know, Dakota Fanning picks him up, or Jane, and she just tosses him in the fire and dies.
Yeah.
Just completely alive.
Yeah, we could set vampires on fire.
So it's like, it's like, you have to catch them first, but maybe them being set on fire is so painful that they wouldn't like outrun it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it would stagger them.
My problem is you're essentially dealing with the vampires are essentially Quicksilver, but they're essentially immune to bullets.
You cover yourself in napalm and you run at them.
There you go. That would work.
See? Give them a hug.
If you can catch them, while you're on fire and running a human speed.
Exactly. You wait for them to get to you, and you pull a thing, and that thing sets yourself up.
I would love to talk about that. I need to understand what the fear is, because I'm sitting there like, that group of vampires in the last movie, that entire group of them that fought each other with their powers, because apparently their powers work on humans too. What are you gonna do when you're rolling up, I guess, in a tank column, and a guy opens up the earth and just sinks your entire armored detachment into the earth? And
Sure.
You bring a second tank.
what do they can see
Come on,
the
Jay.
future? No.
Come on.
No. The vampires can take out humanity
And see the
in
future.
that world at any point.
And see the future.
Yeah, they can see the future. They can read minds. It's like, okay, guys, what's the plan? And then you're just like, oh, they're gonna try to do this.
Well, I'm sure
absolutely
if the
broken.
Volturi had those powers under their belt, they would, but they don't. That's why they want people like Alice. That's why they want people like Edward.
To take over the world.
To help maintain power?
Actually, it's a good question. What is the purpose?
They want to They want to maintain their power in secret. So they get by just taking a bunch of tourists. That works for them. They don't need to be exposed. They don't want this many eyes on them.
It goes back to like, why do the werewolves and the vampires hate each other?
Because of that story.
Yeah.
Because the vampires killed a bunch of their like kin.
Yeah.
And they could never talk it out. I mean, they did make a peace treaty.
Yeah. With the
Peace.
Cullens at
With a very
least. With
specific
specific
type-
that
yeah.
clan, the Cullen clan.
Yeah. So I guess it takes someone having to have the discussion. But it's like, honestly, it's like, yeah, you guys fought each other and whatever a long time ago, but like, just because you have killed each other all the time doesn't mean you
Sure.
should
I mean,
continue
it takes
to.
time. I mean, if
It
that
does take
feud
time.
went on for how many years, then
But there's no
It's
like,
gonna
they're
take
not,
time.
neither side is out for power, right?
no, not in that
Like
sense.
the
No.
wolf people eat burgers and stuff, so they kill animals, and then the vampires, like, yes, they kill humans, but that's not really their choice.
But also, like, werewolves
For the
have
sake
the
of
animosity
craving.
against vampires for
Well,
eating
some
people.
of the vampires actively enjoy feasting on humans.
Of course.
Which is different. Like,
for the sake of the thrill.
Again, the wolves are only in the movies, at least from what I've seen, they're only at peace with the Cullens because the Cullens are vegetarians
Yeah.
by their standards. Which is like, well, we hunt animals, they hunt animals, we'll tolerate you. But any other vampires, they're immediately like, we want to kill them, and then they try to find any excuse to potentially go at the Cullens because they're like, step out of line, and we're gonna just attack you. Up until like the end, and then they're even more chill with them. But like that entire time, they were like, stay on your side, or else we'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like they were just straight up on site with them, and those were the ones they liked.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know. To tie it back into Eclipse, right? This movie is just all about Bella being like, turn me, change me.
Yeah.
I want to be a vampire.
Right. Edward
Yeah.
comes back and
He's disgusted with it.
she really wants, like, so we don't do this again. Turn me into a vampire.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I can't.
I can't do that.
No, you won't be you.
Yeah. And then it seemed like there was like a bunch of not really agreed upon conditions to their like,
Yeah, they're like,
this and this and this.
marry
and
me
this.
first.
And then she's like, okay, well, this. And he's like, okay, well, 3 years.
Yeah.
Not 5.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, well, once we're
Yeah,
married.
I wasn't.
And
I
then
wasn't
like
sure
it seemed
what
like
the,
once
what
they were married,
agreed,
it was
right.
well, I guess once they were married, it was still supposed to be a small wait, right?
Oh, so Alice's prediction didn't come true. She said, "I'll turn her myself,"
Yeah.
and it wasn't. It was Edward.
Yeah. That's weird. Well, I think it was Edward because they didn't expect a baby to happen.
Oh, so wait. Otherwise, if the baby didn't happen, Alice would have been the one to do it.
Yeah, like everybody knew they were going to consummate the wedding, but like that had nothing to do with getting pregnant. So it's like it's an unforeseeable thing.
Well, that's another thing. Or
Like it's not. It's never existed.
Edward seemed to think, "Oh, I'll change you," but then Bella was like, "No, I want to be human." It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
I don't understand like.
Her insistence on
Well,
that.
no, I mean like the Alice is like, I'll change her. Here's the proof, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, number one, all the times Arrow touches people and you don't see what he sees is such a it's so stupid to me. I'm like, we need to know what he's seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some times where you don't, and that might.
I wonder if in the books they don't describe it. He just kind of like takes their word. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, maybe Alice could have been there, also chomping at Bella to save her, putting venom in her.
That would have helped
With
I guess.
Edward.
But then it wouldn't have been Edward and Bella. If Alice was there, it wouldn't have been as romantic. You know.
She was dying, bro. What are you talking about?
But
I know. It's so hopelessly romantic. Insanely hopelessly romantic.
So Victoria's making an army.
Yeah, New Victoria. Yeah.
New Victoria, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah. Making an army.
Making an army because in the first movie they had killed James. So her partner.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this movie, she turns this random guy named Riley. And they start amassing an army to move against Bella and the Cullens.
In real love.
Real love, right? And Edward was making a good point. I'm like, she doesn't love you. She's using you. She doesn't care about you. She cares about James. That's what she's doing. She's avenging James, not you, Riley.
What's weird is does he even read Riley's mind?
He kind of doesn't need to.
I think if he read Riley's mind, it would have shown Riley proof that he could read someone's mind to validate the claim she doesn't care about you.
No, I don't know how does Edward prove that to Riley?
That's what, like, so Riley comes up and he's all pissed and he's like, I'm going to rip your head off or whatever. And then Edward's just like, bro, she doesn't love you.
Yeah.
Bro, I can read minds. Let me show you right now. Think of what your mom looks like.
Okay.
And then he tells you what your mom looks like based on him being able to read your mind. You'd be like, oh yeah, like your mind is telling me that she had blue eyes and she was this tall.
Okay.
And you had this memory with her.
Okay.
And then this is the night you got bit.
Okay.
And like all these random details that nobody else would know about.
All right.
And then he'd be like, so now that you know that I read minds, I'm going to read her mind. She doesn't care about you, bro. She hates you. You're a pawn.
See, he didn't believe her. Even then, he wouldn't believe her.
Probably not.
He would not believe her.
Because he's also
You're the
like,
enemy.
thirsty.
I'm not going to believe you.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't take a super genius to be like, any vampire could have recruited you, bro. It's just this one decided to recruit you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It is also a hopeless romantic book.
Yeah, I think that was
series.
a situation, right?
So, love would win.
Love wins.
Fake love would win.
This movie had one of my favorite lines in the whole saga.
Which was
this situation where Riley's confronting them, and
yeah.
And then Edward's like, "She don't love you, bro," and he's like, "You're dead."
It's such like a kindergartner way of respond.
You're dead.
I wish they would have. Dude, they just gotta like break the sound barrier. Like he should have started sprinting, and you hear like, and then like
that'd have been.
And then Edward goes like,
fights were like that. That'd have been.
That's what I'm saying. Like the very last time you see Arrow in the entire series, right, in Breaking Dawn, he's like turning away, and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
bye," and then he goes, right. I'm like, okay,
they should do that
he's
more.
Arrow. Yes, he has the full red eyes.
Yeah, 300 to 400 years.
But like, if you're mad and you're a superhuman type being, and he's also has the red eyes, I'm like, they should have had, instead of making it look like you're jumping faster and weird blurry shots, which I did not like.
Yeah, they should do
They should have really impactful fight scenes. Like, what was her original man's name? James. Apparently he's super scary, and the 300-year-old vampire's like, I've never seen someone with his power before.
Laurent. Yeah.
Yeah, Laurent. Literally Edward on deer meat beat him up. I don't even know what to say, man. It's just like, set me up real good.
Yeah.
Not scary. The scary part was listening
they do like
to Bella
sort of
scream.
like Dragon Ball Z fights, but on the ground? It would be like,
literally, yeah. That's what they should be looking like to humans.
Mm-hmm.
You only hear these like massive thuds of thunder, just like. And
That'd be
you see
cool.
like
I would
sides
like-
of the mountain break off, just huge chunks. Yeah, exactly. It should
The
literally...
baseball fight, but like, I mean, the baseball scene, but like them fighting.
Yeah,
Would be cool.
even more than that. Yeah, because they're mad. You know, like they're enraged. They have the even more adrenaline or whatever fuels their anger. But she wasn't that terrifying. No,
They kill her at
She
the end
wasn't
of this,
terrifying up to the fight scene.
Yeah.
All the fight scenes are really weak.
Mhm.
They're really not impactful, especially James. And James was supposed to be this random big wild card problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have loved to see it take like a minimum of 4 vampires to take him down, like Emmett and Edward and Jasper, and I don't know, Rosalie.
Yeah.
Rosalie's been mad this whole
Rosalie's a
entire
killer.
series, bro. She's been waiting.
Right.
She's been waiting for this moment. And then we have Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Breaking Dawn Part 1.
Yep.
How did Eclipse end? They kill her, right?
Yeah, they kill her.
They kill her.
And then Breaking Dawn Part 1. Jesus. Okay, so the wedding happens.
Yeah.
What was weird too is like I was expecting there to be a bigger issue going on in this movie, but it was kind of building up the sweetness up until a really graphic like pregnancy scene, birth scene, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
It's
really
good thing we
graphic.
went with this picture and not yeah.
Oh, dude, we were looking at pictures to put up, and I was like, "Yo, what about this one?" And Google was even like, "Are you sure?"
It's the harsh one where it's just
CGI baby was
Yeah.
the worst invention of all time.
Oh yeah. for
Literally,
sure. I don't know why they didn't
Pixar's
just
Monsters
use a baby.
Inc. did a better CGI job,
Yeah.
and they actually did than this. And that looks like a believable baby. It just looks like
It's a
way
picture.
too soft.
It's a picture of a baby on top of a baby's
If you
head.
told me this was a shot from Polar Express, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like very dated CGI.
But there's no
Even
like
for the
depth. Even for the no, because Polar Express looks
better.
better. It's blobbier. See, because Polar Express, there's depth to it. There's no depth there. It's a flat screen.
It definitely seems.
It's
you know,
flat.
the problem is, I think. it's
I'm looking
because
at
it looks
painting.
like a Polar Express thing, but Polar Express is entirely in a 3D world, and this is a Polar Express character taken out and then put into a live.
It's like
action
you
thing.
printed a Polar Express
Yes.
and then you put it on top of the baby's face.
I literally couldn't tell you
There's
why.
no depth there.
I can't tell you why they couldn't just use a regular child.
Also, they had better CGI at the time. Listen, it was only 10 years ago, or roughly 10 years.
Transformers was around this time.
Yes.
Transformers
exactly.
was insane.
Lord of the Rings was like 7 years older than this and had better use of CGI.
I don't even want to talk about how amazing Lord of the Rings was.
It still has aged pretty well.
Yeah, it has,
It-
actually. Things that will always irk me about this series, even after they made an insane amount of money on the first movie, the second and the third, the whole skin sparkle, it's not impactful. They could have made it more, like, I don't know what it would take, like, make their skin not look rockier, but, like, the diamond effect and there not being any rocks doesn't really make sense just for geometry's sake. But like, if it was like a flat diamond and you wanted it to sparkle like that, it sparkles a little differently. Like if it was like a flat surface diamond. So I don't really know what they were going for. They just wanted a sparkle to exist. If you wanted a sparkle, put some damn glitter on it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was gonna say glitter. I'm like, glitter is one way to go. About it.
There's like, but then again, if you put too much, it's gonna like clump, and then you start to see like non smooth skin and whatever. So there's that, and then there's the whole motion blur effect that it was not well executed.
Yeah,
It's very like all the quality of like Dawn and then Eclipse and New Moon of all the quality upgrades from the first movie. It's I don't know where they decided to like keep the same effect. It's just not fluid. It's not smooth. It looks completely separate from the quality of the rest of the movie. But yeah, so you have like the wedding scene in this movie, and then you have the vacation.
yeah.
The vacation was, dude, if I had a girl to play like chess with like that, dude, like that, that is the perfect honeymoon.
Yeah,
right
so
there. Little bit of chest.
was it Isle Esme?
Is it? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
Carlisle
Island.
bought that island
Yeah,
for
the entire
Esme
island. Yeah.
for his wife, and they let him have it for the honeymoon.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, he's gifting them like a package, like a hotel package.
No,
thing,
that's
like with
they
a
own
villa.
that place.
Yeah, and then he's like on Isle Esme, and I was like, wow, and it makes sense. I think Jay brought it up. Jay's like, yeah, he's like what 200, 300, 400 years old. Like, bro's got money,
Yeah.
and then he's also an active doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know how much money.
Imagine
I should do a
he's that much
calculation.
experienced doctor, so he like probably never makes mistakes, and he's got the eyeballs too, so he can like
Yeah, right.
do the fine details.
Yeah,
he's
he
probably
could-
a fantastic doctor.
He could mess up in speed, right? Like in his speed force or whatever. He could mess up, fix it, and like nothing happened. And they're like, "How did you?" And he's just like, "How'd I what? What happened?"
Adrenaline.
Yeah, adrenaline. Yeah. You see that too? I don't know. Like, how'd you feel about her death logic thing? Like, she flatlined, and then there's like 5 times more venom put into her, and she lives.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? She seemed dead way longer than she should have been for it to work. For me.
I think it was fine. She was freshly dead.
Okay.
It just happened.
Yeah.
She just died.
Plus,
And
I don't really know.
I think what would have helped if he was like kind of like massaging her body or still doing CPR.
I'm surprised
to,
they
like,
didn't
to-
like
to circulate the venom?
CPR because they're so strong.
Yeah,
Because he's doing this.
Yeah, he
Same
is
with
doing
Jacob. Jacob does that, or Jacob breathes in her mouth, and I'm like, what if her chest just exploded?
they're experienced enough now that like they
Yeah,
can hold
yeah.
back.
And I mean, this is still like a sturdy pose, you
Yeah.
know, even if you're not putting a lot of force. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, you're sitting there with like,
Just kind of.
and I kind of wish the baby was like feral when it came out. A little bit. Not
Oh, right.
Maybe not
But I think that's
necessarily
the
hungry
special
right
thing
then
about
and there.
her. She's a dampire, which is a hybrid human vampire.
Interesting.
A dampire.
Interesting. Okay.
Dhampir.
Dampire.
Yeah, so she's not feral. She doesn't crave blood, but she can subsist on blood or human food. So that's kind of sucks being a vampire. You can't. Do you just reject human food? You just can't eat it.
I think your whole body metabolism is different.
Yeah, you just
So it's like,
can't eat people food.
yeah, it's like a leech.
See,
Like,
that's
it's like-
lame. I would at
leech
least
doesn't
want to
crave a
eat
burger.
to blend in.
yeah.
Let me eat the human food.
Like something I never noticed either, and probably because they probably didn't pay attention to it in the other movies, but it's like the whole don't forget to act like you're breathing. Just take like a bit.
Oh yeah, you have to do that.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
move your shoulders to act like you're breathing. You know, well, that's weird.
you know what's funny too is like that makes more sense for vampire's sake, but I've never heard that from other vampire media.
to act to
They
act
don't
like
need
you're
to
breathing.
breathe. They don't need to.
They don't need to blink.
They don't need to blink. It makes a lot of sense though. Well, yes and no, right? If we're saying vampires are like bats, they should blink, right? They should sleep. They should sleep.
Oh, but they didn't compare them to bats in this media.
Right, which I kind of enjoy. They're kind of their own. They're kind of
Creature.
just a magical beast.
Mhm.
So they're not really. But it's like, you know, things make more sense. Like I don't see why the sunlight would hurt them. Maybe it'd be
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It just exposes them.
Yeah,
It's just like, oh, I'm a different thing.
and it keeps.
I don't want you to know I'm different.
And it keeps them also just like, how are you hidden? It's like, well, we're hidden because we don't go out when you're out.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it easier. Yeah, baby things.
Oh yeah, so Bella died.
Bella totally died,
She died,
and then
giving birth to the baby.
Edward is like, "Here, have 2 gallons of my venom in you."
Yeah, he had the big syringe that he had filled up. I don't know how you do it. Kind of
Yeah, right. Put it in a like 2 flasks.
Flask.
He's just like, so there's that, and then
And it bit her all over.
bit her all over, after injecting her in the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she turns into a vampire at the end of Breaking Dawn 1.
Yep.
She's a vampire now.
Yeah.
She's super hungry.
I wonder if Edwards warmed her.
Warmed her?
Warm to her.
Warm to her. No. He makes a comment.
We're
the same temperature now.
But I'm saying, like, do they both feel cold to each other, or do they both feel? Do they feel
interesting? Maybe like in
now?
the same way when you touch another person.
Yeah, like
there's the warmth there. It's the I've got familiar temperature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because isn't that a thing where because of the temperature difference, like because there's the same temperature, it'll feel like human contact probably feel better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like it does. There's no difference now. It feels the same. Like they even say like this table, if it feels cold, or if it's like metal and it feels cold, and it's been in that room like if you go to like a Target and you touch the metal tray where like they put stuff on like on the shelf, and you're like, oh, that feels cold, and it's like, well, it feels cold, but you're the same temperature, or like it should be the same temperature as the surface of your skin, or blah 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 blah. But it feels cold because it's like better conductor of heat and blah blah. I think it's a poor description of what's going on. Like your body's warmer, so if you press, it feels colder.
Right.
But like the surface of your skin is more close to the. It's not the same as your internal.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And then, but if you touch something that's your internal heat, like if you put your hand under 96-degree water, 98, it's actually kind of hot. Like it's uncomfortably hot. Yeah. So, or it can be. Yeah. Very interesting. Breaking Dawn Part 2.
She's a vampire. She struggles with the hunger.
This is a goofy picture of Arrow.
Yeah, it's like that one, that one meme picture where that little girl in front of the fire. This is exactly it.
Yeah. You were saying?
Yeah, so Bella's struggling with her hunger, and Edward was like, I didn't know humans were going to be around here, and some free climber is out there.
Yeah.
And she was like going to go after him.
I actually thought she was going to do it. Like the fact that he talked her down like all the way that close.
Yeah.
Was insane.
Well, they make a comment. I don't know if this is like actually a thing, actually a power, but they make a comment, or Bella does. She's like, I got the power of super control. Like that's actually super rare for her to be that controlled, being a newborn
Interesting.
vampire.
I wonder where that would come in handy in other
super control. She just
other
is
facets.
able. Her urges are just, she can suppress her urges way better than other vampires.
So she's strong of mind and of body. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, she has a craving problem. They're hunting together, and she's like, "Wow, this is the best life ever." And Edward's like, "I am a heartless beast." And they have a kid. And then what does Jacob do?
What does Jacob do?
What does he reveal to her at the beginning of that movie? Hey, Bella, so I can't control this thing.
So the werewolves were after the baby, right? Is that what it was?
Yeah, yeah.
Or they're after Bella.
Yeah.
They're going to kill Bella.
Well, that's the first part, right? They did that in part 1.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
So they're going to kill Bella.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they're like, if they're going to kill Bella and they're going to kill the baby. And Jacob's thinking like, I don't want him to kill the baby.
Yeah.
How do I protect them?
Well,
okay.
It seems like all of the sudden,
wasn't on purpose.
He just fell in love with the baby.
He imprinted on the baby.
Yeah, not like I like in a sensual way.
Yeah.
It's just like he loves the baby like a daughter.
Right, but then also,
or
they make it a point that he didn't do it on purpose. It just happened.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, dude, one of my only true joys on this planet is like a baby. It's like this little thing. You can't. In baby, like anything, really, like a baby bear cub or like a baby goat. You just look at it, you're like, look at this.
It's so precious. You have to protect it.
Yeah. It's just this thing is just, he doesn't know what it's doing. He's just experienced it all for the first time.
So.
Pureness. It's pure.
So Jacob has to like.
explain.
He told Edward about it already.
Yeah, and
Edward's
they're
like,
cool about it.
all right.
He's
But
like,
then-
I
He's like,
guess.
you gotta tell her. Okay, you'll
so-
be the one to tell her, okay? And Jacob's like, it's a wolf thing. So
Bella's
remember
like,
what I told
"Uh-huh."
you about imprinting? So the reason why the werewolf pack is not going after Renesmee, cause I imprinted
From
on
Nessie.
Nessie. It's like, you nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness monster.
That was the.
I don't remember.
I was enjoying the series when he said that in the movie. I was like, turn it off, turn it off.
That's all I needed.
It's-
That's all I needed to remember about Twilight.
One
She
of the
got-
most underrated ones is what's the quote from the movie theater when he's like, "You just shot my arm off," or something like. Is that what he says? They're like shooting each other in the movie theater. Like the movie theater,
What movie is this?
New Moon, I think.
You shot my arm off.
It's Jacob and Michael and Bella. They're in the movie theater.
Oh, I don't remember this line.
The audio from the movie
I didn't
playing
remember
is
that.
like really
You
stupid.
shot my arm off.
It's like something dumb like that.
Yeah.
It's this like shoot 'em up scene,
Yeah,
and Michael's like, "Oh, I'm getting queasy. I can't take it."
I
you know?
didn't hear that.
But what they're actually saying was so bad, it was like really funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. But it kind of reminded me of that. You nicknamed her after the Loch Ness monster. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
no.
it's a dumb line that they put in there on purpose. I think it was just too wordy. Like
It was
she
wordy.
can be mad about that, but you're not gonna say all that.
No, you're not.
You're gonna
Nessie, like the Loch Ness monster.
be like, yeah, you could say that a little bit more punchy
Yeah.
than what. That was too much.
Yeah, no. Dude. But just start punching him at that point.
Yeah,
Which would be impressive, right? Just throws him into the forest and Jacob's flying in the air going, wow, she's really strong.
right. He kind of flies back.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. And then, poor pup. What's the little kid's name? Seth? Seth keeps
Boo-Boo
getting
Stewart.
thrown around all movie.
Yeah,
He was a chew toy.
Bella accidentally hits or
Throws him into a tree.
throws Seth. And,
Well, not accidentally, but
but she didn't mean to.
not that crazy, yeah. Seth just keeps getting picked on that whole movie, man. So they're married.
They're married.
Baby.
Baby.
Baby's now like akin to a 5-year-old.
I thought
4
she
or
was
5.
close, almost 7 because the way they were having conversations with her.
Actually, yeah, I guess
I guess she's also small.
and quiet.
But then the way that she talks sounds like a 7-year-old.
yeah, she's very mature.
She's a super genius, right? Wasn't she also playing piano? Like Edward was showing her, and then she like picked it up, or what?
Is that her thing? She's supposed to be a super genius.
I think she's smart.
Interesting. I mean, I wouldn't put it past her. She's very, like
Advanced.
calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she has like this wise demeanor.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so maybe there's like depth to her power that they didn't really explain. That kind of adds to the whole cerebral component. I actually kind of like the Breaking Dawn a lot. Like the second one, it's just the ending was goofy for me, but the build up was cool.
Yeah.
You get to meet the extended family. Like there's the electrical thing. That one was weird. Like all these vampires having these crazy powers instead of like, oh, you're a little faster. Oh, you're a little stronger. Oh, you're
So like
this
each
and
one
that.
has like a gift, and then another one. Like each one had, or not each one, but you may have a gift or you may have a talent.
So explain that.
So
What do you mean by gift?
gift is the psychic power.
So something kind of unrelated to being a typical vampire.
Yeah. So Edward's gift is mind reading.
Right.
Right. Edward's talent is super speed.
Yeah.
Like he's
really fast. Which they
faster.
also don't really make, even in the later series with the more funding.
yeah.
You don't really see that Edward's faster ever. They don't really make that
I guess
obvious.
not. I guess not.
Yeah.
But I just
You
believe
never
it.
see him with a regular, young,
Vampire.
even arguably fresh vampire.
Yeah.
And him running next to them to show the staggered difference of like, oh, he's fast, or is he a little fast?
Right.
Yeah. So that's an issue. I have.
So that's the thing. The gifts are the psychic powers, and
Gifts,
then the
okay.
talent is like
Of a
like-
normal vampire, what do you excel at?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
trying to think
Emmett's-
of another talent.
Emmett's talent is strength.
I'm trying to think of another talent, like
Hearing, scent.
here maybe something
Yeah,
like that.
maybe sight.
Yeah,
like
like whatever you were
advanced sight.
particularly good at. I think Edward was like a faster guy, and then it just kind of just gets put on top of that. Like
Sure.
Emmett was strong as a person, and then when he became a vampire, he was extra strong.
Okay, and maybe Alice is really smart
Yeah, maybe she's like super
or
intuitive.
lucky. Or,
Yeah, intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive. Yeah, that's a really good way to use it.
So like something like that. Well, that's the thing. Don't get the gifts and the talents mixed up, because the gift is the psychic power and talent is a physical power.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, it's not off track. Either.
Yeah. Like your
Well,
human your
like, I
human
guess
traits are
reading minds
magnified.
and being fast isn't really correlated.
Right.
But
But your human traits do get magnified. They foreshadow like Bella's thing. The reason why Edward can't read her is because it's her psychic shield.
yeah,
Like, so Arrow can't read her memories.
pain can't be inflicted.
Jane
on it.
can't put pain on her. So she's just immune to all that.
They say Arrow. Yeah, Jane.
Yeah.
Arrow's henchman woman.
Yeah.
Henchwoman.
Henchwoman.
Hench person. Yeah.
Hench person.
What do we think about this one? You get to meet the extended family, which they're all really
Yeah,
cool.
there's the
I
electrical
don't know why
one.
they're all like blondes. Like most of them are blonde.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter.
Did they come from a specific country? Maybe they're all...
Maybe, but like it's not really a
I
problem.
thought there
It's-
was like a little bit of an accent.
maybe, yeah, maybe they're like really from like old Europe where he was from.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a thing. If he is from old
There's
Europe.
like that scruffy looking dude in like killing dudes in the tunnel.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah,
guy
who falls in love with the electrical girl.
Yeah, he was cool.
There was the two Amazonian women.
The smoke one is still one of the weirdest ones.
Oh,
The
James.
Amazonian women were cool. The whole tribe was actually really cool. Which kind of ties into the whole lady at the pregnancy scene. She's just like, it's a demon in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I wish they had more backstory on that too. Like, they went out. I wish they went out
the
in
Brazilian
jungle.
tribes.
Yeah, I wish they went out in the jungle and they found like.
Well, so
I
was the guy at the end from Brazil? Was he a native from Brazil?
Probably. That to me makes the only sense because
Yeah.
first of all, he's wearing like thinner clothing, so he's from a tropical area. Probably.
Yeah.
Just like the other Amazonians.
Because that's why they went to Isle Esme.
Yeah.
because-
and the Amazonians are also close to
So-
Brazil.
Is that what
Close.
it? Well, that's the thing. They like I don't know how the word got out. They just felt they needed to come to Forks, but like those Amazonian women came from the Amazon, right?
Oh, unbeknownst.
Yeah, remember, like
Nobody invited him. Or
they
like-
just came. Yeah. Well, I think I don't know how Carlisle put the word out there, but he put the word out there, and then all these vampires started coming.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how he.
Could also be tied to that lady that inspected the baby when they were in the Isle Esme. Remember, she came and she puts her hand on her stomach. Like, where did this lady come from?
Well, I think she's just a spiritual woman. I don't think she's supernatural at all.
Yeah, she could be tied in with the Amazonian thing, like of the same vein, not necessarily like exactly the same tribe.
Okay.
I don't know. Could be something like that.
Yeah, but it at first I didn't think she was part of all that, but then I guess she was.
I would say just
That's
for
the
the
same
sake of the
woman who,
movie
like,
series.
on the honeymoon day. Is that the same woman?
No, I don't think it's the same woman. I'm saying
No.
like maybe they have relations. That
Okay.
lady and the tribe with the Amazonian women.
Okay.
You know, like could be her cousin or something.
I forget her name. Zafrina. She was the one who could do hallucinations. She can. She's one of the Amazonian women. Zafrina.
Yeah, I wish. First of all, I wish there was more of that.
Yeah.
The
more of
hallucinations thing on Arrow would be insane.
Well,
Like
that's
it would make more sense to make Arrow hallucinate about the whole fight scene,
rather than Alice's
and in his
vision.
head he's like stressing out because he's thinking all these things are happening,
Yeah.
and then they truly aren't.
Right. But that was Alice's vision, right? Through
It was,
Arrow?
but I think that just made the whole fight scene turn into like I said earlier, it just the whole thing turns into. And then I woke up and it was all a dream. And It's
Right.
like, bro, he's supposed to be like the most senior member of this elite clan.
If anything, that proves to me that his
he's
fear was just
terrifying.
well that proves to me that his fear was justified in that, like, okay, we won't have that fight. Look, the thing that I just saw isn't happening. So you say Renesmee is not going to be a problem. You say the Cullens aren't going to expose us all, but you just showed me proof that we could change that. So
True.
I'm going to kill them because I don't want that to be a possibility.
Right.
I will say, I think the really big thing, though, is her showing him that they lose. And it's like, yeah, people die, like, on both sides, but, like, the Voltari, like, they lose. Like, they lose by a significant margin of victory. Like, yes.
Arrow dies.
People die. Arrow dies specifically.
His henchman's
but,
finally.
Again, the resistance side, like, a bunch of them are alive. Like, like at least half. At least half of all of them are alive. And all the Voltari forces, they're all dead. They all die. And I'm just like, yeah. I wouldn't want to take that fight either, because it's like, well, things are different now. Do I think that's a 50% of your guys are still alive margin of victory? We can overcome that because we had a slightly different conversation? I don't think so.
True.
Plus, it seems like, I think we talked about this while we were watching the movies too, is like the power scale of a vampire and a werewolf.
Yeah,
How do
you
feel
were.
about that?
Were you the one who said 2 werewolves to a vampire?
Yeah, that's what it, like in the flashback in was it Breaking Dawn? Whichever one, they have the story.
Oh, the man. And,
in the flashback, the vampire, like the older vampire, one of the cold ones.
There's like 4 of them.
So he gets encountered by 2 spirit warriors. One goes to attack him, and he kind of overpowers it immediately, and then the second one jumps in, and then they manage to kill him off screen, apparently. Then when the chief goes to fight as the only one left, for whatever reason he's the only one left, he's losing, and then his wife notices and distracts him from the win. So it seems like in a one-on-one fight, a vampire, at least that's drinking human blood, is just strictly stronger and like better than a werewolf.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At times it's weird though, because they just kind of fluctuate, just like most things do, where they're like, today we want there to be more tension, so the werewolves are actually a threat to the Cullens. And it's like they also did at least pepper in, like, we haven't hunted and eaten really in a while. So
their golden eyes are fading.
Yeah, so they're weakened. So I'm like, if they're fully fed off humans, they're definitely stronger.
Yeah.
And if they're not fed off of anything, they're probably weaker. So the Cullens are probably somewhere in between. But they also have insanely broken abilities, a lot of them, so they probably just win. Because the werewolves we're werewolves. And we have empathy, telepathy. That's it. That's all we got.
Oh, did that come up? Did Renesmee use her power on the Volturi at all? Well, they did, right? Renesmee like touches Arrow's face. Yeah. So he just changed his mind after that, or like he like, all right, fine,
she doesn't change his mind. She does it before the whole fight scene is introduced.
Okay.
And then they send her away to start running away. Well, that's part of it.
So then that didn't change her mind. Well, that I think that just showed that she had the powers.
Yes.
But how did they show she was human? Oh, that she's blood. They could hear her beating heart.
Sure.
It's like, go look, she's warm.
Yeah.
She's got a beating heart. She's not like us. Okay.
Yeah, I think all that stuff was obvious.
But then she has the power of a vampire.
From across the field, he's like, "What are you doing with that here? Do you know the danger you could be?" Blah, blah. Yeah. And like, no, it's not what you think. And then she walks up and she's like, "This is what I am." And he's like, "Fascinating." Or no, he says, "Magnifico." He's so sweet, and then he's so dumb.
Yeah.
Very interesting fellow. Oh yeah, another fun fact is werewolves are definitely faster than the average vampire, it seems. At least in one of the scenes, vampires are like noticeably catching up. Or sorry, the werewolves are
They're catching up.
noticeably catching up to the vampires.
It's funny because the vampires call them werewolves, but they themselves are like, we're spirit warriors.
They really are spirit warriors.
Yeah, because like
they're like druids.
Yeah, like they straight up shapeshift into a wolf.
It's not brought on by the moon.
Yeah,
and it's not. They're still
it's
conscious.
So confusing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up while you.
Are they vampires or are they like leveled up zombies? Like what are they? You know,
Pretty
because
much
they're not
leveled
related
up
to
zombies.
bats and they don't sleep.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Well, like I guess for me, this series has shown me like they're closer to demons than actual vampire folklore. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So they eat people and they're cold.
You know what's funny?
That's it.
If they never feel cold, if they never have hunger outside of blood, and if
They're called shifters.
Shifters. Yeah.
and if they never need to breathe, and they have advanced sight, you could literally just walk on the bottom of the ocean.
They do that.
No, I know they do that. I'm just saying, like, long term.
Yeah.
You could literally live in the bottom of the ocean and feed off of, like, the fish.
I guess so.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought of that the
Mermaid.
other day. I was like, you know, what'd be really interesting is, like, if you had so much time on your hand and so much boredom as a vampire and you've lived so many hundreds of years, what if you just walked from one continent to the other
Yeah.
underwater?
Yeah.
Like,
They've
how
done that.
awesome.
Well,
is
like
that?
they walked in the bottom of the lake at that one point.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
guys
so they
wanna
can do
hear
that in the
something
ocean.
Interesting
Uh.
about what I just read about the series, and I'm assuming it's in the books. I don't think it's mentioned really in the movies. It's not like focused on. So yeah, shifters aren't real werewolves. There is a group called the Children of the Moon, and they were werewolves. But due to their ability to easily kill vampires, the Volturi killed the vast majority of them, so they are extremely rare to this day.
Oh, so the true werewolves in the.
In Twilight
they
lore.
exist in Twilight, apparently.
Where are you reading that from?
I'm reading it from just movie news from the Twilight series.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that's interesting. I wanted spin off.
Yeah.
I want to
The true
series.
werewolves.
Jay wants a
Children of the
Twilight
Moon.
tangent series
Yeah.
based on that and the war between the vampires and the actual
Yeah, we'll
werewolves.
call it like Underworld or something. I don't know.
Yo! And then they could have a hybrid.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Underworld was so good. Even if it wasn't, I loved that movie.
I'm just saying, if they could easily kill vampires, the Volturi, maybe that's the reason the Volturi got together. You know what?
Yeah. It's fair.
I've theorized in this world.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, that
they,
was-
they go away and
Like, happily ever after,
Happily
fight
ever
another day
after.
is the actual...
and then they have that scene flash forward where the four of them are hanging out. Renesmee's older, 17, and she stays like that forever.
Yeah, that's actually pretty... I'm surprised we didn't get, like, a snippet of what she would look like as an adult. Like, fully...
Well, not like a face, like front on. Like they were like at a beach talking and
I guess so.
walking around.
But then, like... Wait, they were?
Yeah, there's like a one scene where the
Did
four
I
of
literally
them.
miss that?
Yeah, it was like at the very, very end of the movie. There was a flash forward, and they're just. It's kind of like. It was like kind of like a fade. I don't know if it was Alice's vision or something, but like it was the four of them just hanging out, talking.
Jacob and...
Jacob,
And those
Renesmee,
three.
and Edward and Bella.
How do you feel about the name Renesmee?
It's dumb.
Mark, I would have said it better myself. Very dumb.
Yeah, Nessie. If her name was like Nessa, I would have loved that. Nessa.
Sure.
Nessie. Nessie's not bad,
No, it's not bad at all.
but Nessa's fine.
I think Renesmee could have been done differently too, like
Esme.
Nesme or
Nesme.
how about Enema?
Renee.
That sounds
Esme.
exotic.
Remy.
That sounds exotic.
Remy.
Emphasis on the exit.
I don't know. How about Remy?
Remy Lebo.
Remy Lebo. Renesmee.
Uh,
Esme. Yeah, Remy. I don't know. Remy
Remy?
works for me. Remy.
Remy the shit.
I don't know. I think
Little chef.
Esmene. Esmene sounds less
Esmene.
cringe. It's weird.
They should have just used a real
Mene.
name. Remy.
Mene.
Remy is fine.
Remy.
Renesmee. I don't know. I would have
It's
I'd
too-
rather them call her
It's
Nessie.
too gross,
Nessa.
romantic, force down your throat novel type
It's
name. You know,
Renesmee.
it's literally like Fabio with the long hair and the can bench 350 kind of.
Oh,
and he wears
what
wears
are-
like
what are
linen,
Harry
linen
Potter's
pants.
children?
He doesn't even wear shirts.
Albus Servus
Servus.
Potter.
Yeah.
And then his first son.
Those are really bad.
What's his first son's name? James. What is it? Did he use Hagrid? No. Oh, Rubius? Yeah. Is it James Rubius?
Revis, right?
Rubius Hagrid. So I think it's James Rubius. His first son is called James Rubius, and then his son is named.
Is it serious?
No. That's the third son.
That's the third son.
Yeah. So when they do that flash forward,
Oh, God.
that's the third child. He's the second son, the third.
They have 3 kids.
They have 3 kids.
Yeah, there's a musical or like a play.
Yeah, cursed child.
Allegedly,
Wow.
they're supposed to make another Harry Potter spin-off, and I think it's probably gonna be
Cursed child.
Yeah.
Interesting.
so.
You know what's funny is
Boruto.
what is it? Fantastic
Belluto.
Beasts. Fantastic Beasts
And where to find him? Yeah.
has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
Yeah. It's just in the Wizarding
It's
world.
literally.
Well, it takes place in the Harry Potter universe. The
Yeah.
problem is you call it Harry Potter.
They didn't call it that. They call it Fantastic Beasts.
Okay, you know what it's supposed to be called? It's the Wizarding World.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, the Wizarding World. So it takes place in the Wizarding World.
Yeah.
But it's not,
Can we just make a series, please, and save?
Wizarding world.
No, just save fantasy media in general, and like make a series, make a universe, different universe, and like the movies don't fall off. Can we do that? Can we just do that? We only make a certain amount of movies as well. Say this person's story and it ends, and
But
then
people like money.
Yeah.
and they like shit films. Sorry.
I mean, some of the movies.
I don't know, like in the same way Star
Marvel
Wars and Lord of
Endgame?
the Rings. They
Marvel
make these
after
Star Wars
Endgame.
games. They make these Star Wars series. They make these Lord of the Ring games.
It's super easy. You just go on any Star Wars, anything that says anything about fans for Star Wars, and it says, just make an Old Republic game. That's all we
Yeah.
want.
So I
That's
think
all
that,
we want.
Well, I think
A good old Republic game.
I think that's
We
what
have-
Harry Potter wants to be. Like, there will have a Wizarding World thing.
Yeah.
It's like a Wizarding World, so we'll have like more Wizarding World games, more Wizarding World books or shows.
the
or
games
whatever.
would be insane if you could do like Newt Scamander stuff, where you're like, but Newt is on like a
Well, what did you
crazy
think about
mission.
the Hogwarts Legacy game?
I didn't
really
finish
play
it.
Which, like that.
But
was,
like I think
one of the
people like
best
that.
Harry Potter
People,
games
yeah,
that's ever
people
been
like
made.
that.
Yeah,
People like that, right?
Everybody likes GTA, especially on brooms.
It's Avada Kedavra.
And having my weapon wheel, about a
Dude, the weapon wheel is so efficient in that game, but yeah, people want that skinned in Star Wars with a decent story, and I don't think it's hard to get a decent story.
Yeah, I
You
think
get
they
really
have
good
another
writers,
mobile game right
and
now.
then
I don't. It's,
you have a really good writer and another really good writer, and then someone backing like the actual lore sitting down, and you're like, that doesn't make sense because of this. Oh, okay. Edit. That doesn't make sense because
since you were talking about that, Twilight.
Twilight.
It's a movie series.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
is.
producer.
Okay.
I walk up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do a reboot and make this into a TV series?
Yeah.
Do you say yes or no? So Mark says yes. What do you think, Anthony?
Can we?
Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think that this would do well as a TV show?
It would.
Of course, it would do well.
Well, I mean, so like, would it be good? I mean, that's
Would
what
it be
people
good?
said.
No.
Like Percy
Would it-
Jackson series as a movie, it was bad. People were like,
But
oh,
if they slow
they
the
did-
pace down,
If they did
As
Percy
is-
Jackson like Game of Thrones, would have been insane.
Halo TV series got canceled. What else? Like, there's a lot of shows that get canceled nowadays.
Watch, now that we've said it, it's going to become a TV show. Unless it already has.
It hasn't.
as is, no, it doesn't benefit from that because it's just.
Then the next 10 years, I will
It's
put
just-
money.
you know,
do you think it
But
can
the
succeed?
concept, yeah, I think you can transform the concept to make it a successful TV show. I asked a friend who's a Twilight fan, and she said, "Do you think it would benefit?" And she said, "No, let's just be done with it."
Yes, like,
I mean, that's how everybody feels. Like, and I don't blame them because I'm like, same thing with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm like, that trilogy was done well. You don't need to make that trilogy into a TV show, especially because it was long anyways.
Yeah.
So
They want to make Harry Potter into a series as well.
Twilight video game.
Twilight video game?
Twilight video game.
You just play as a vampire?
I don't think you.
The first game is just
like that.
No, I don't. Unless you could just do that. Like you could put the Twilight branding on it, but it's got nothing to do with
it's
the
got to
series.
basically be like Assassin's Creed, and I don't think Assassin's Creed's a good comparison for this.
But
for what I'm
I
trying
can
to say.
see what you're saying.
But like you start the game off at the very beginning of all conflict, and it's like the werewolves and the vampires came from whatever original source. And then you're like, the werewolves were uncontrollable, and they were taking out vampires for fun because they were the only prey that put up a fight or whatever. And then it's like the vampires got smart and huddled together and created the Volturi. And you're playing as maybe one of each character from both sides.
I'm imagining it now that you're saying it, and this is what I initially thought, and you gave it more context. You are Children of the Moon. You are a werewolf, but this is after they got almost completely wiped out, and you're one of the fewer ones, and you're a younger one, and you are fighting against the Volturi the whole time. And then on top of that, you get, I was going to say you can have a cameo of those two guys that were pissed off that they didn't fight the Volturi, so they can like show up and want to help you because they're like, listen, dude, we want to take out the Volturi too, they suck. And so they can make like a cameo and be in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned
that could be the second game.
You mentioned that with the werewolves, but I think if it's got the Twilight branding, you have to also play as a vampire. So here's the thing. Yeah. Here's what you do. You have a Children of the Moon character that you play as, and then like a la GTA, you play as a vampire girl, and then you just you play their stories.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's Assassin's Creed. You're playing two people at the same time. You're going into the history and coming out of it, or you're just playing history from two sides.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first game is literally setting up the major conflict, and then like the second game is like the craziest, like going from Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2. Like Black Ops 1 was insane. Black Ops 2 was like,
you're thinking of two games already. I'm sitting here like this is a great concept.
Yeah. They could do
have fun. That the hard part is actually making the game good, and I'm not talking about the gameplay.
You just double jump.
Concept. It's like just make it.
Just give him a double jump.
Yeah, just like it is one of those things. Same thing with like a lot of the other stuff. It's like, well, just make a good story, and it's like.
Yeah, I think you could do it.
If it was that good or easy or good plot,
they could similar to Assassin's Creed, you could go back in time and you start with the conflict, a werewolf and then a vampire girl, and then she grows up. She lives through time, right? And then he dies, he has children. It's like, "Oh, my great-grandfather talked about you. You're her." And it just keeps on going.
Yeah, like you could spin this 50 ways and it would make sense.
I think that would be a fun concept.
Yeah,
I think that's cool.
And you know, it'd be funny too is if there were actual regular real vampires in the lore too. And I don't know. Like,
they would suck though.
They would suck.
Unironically,
compared to this.
So the Volturi are like the werewolves that are more sentient that lived on. And like the shitty vampires that are actual vampires are like.
We could slap Twilight on it and just make them closer to the actual.
Maybe I wouldn't throw the secondary vampires on there. One set of vampires,
or have the variants.
Dude,
I don't know. You could still have the variants.
You know what's funny though is like that'd be such an interesting game too, because you'd have to. All the vampires have like different personal wants and needs, and then you have to like you're in the thick of figuring that out. And then you're like, we have to take out these completely unreasonable, we can't find them. They're out in the wild werewolves that they just dominate where they're at. So you can't separately come in and be like, oh, the vampires over there will handle them. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, like you need vampire like homogeny to go and take them out.
See, now here's the question. It's like, yeah, would that work? But is it enough of a justification to be like, yeah, this should be Twilight? Or should it just be its own thing?
No, just slap Twilight on it.
Twilight, it does make sense in the lore, but
just slap Twilight on it, and then use the lore building.
And maybe that could be the whole predicating factor. I hope I used that word correctly. The whole reason as to why Arrow's even so sensitive to changing the dynamic is
Sure.
because he's gone. Like, what if he was like a little kid, or what if he was really new to being a vampire during that time?
Yeah.
And like it would rocked his fundamental world, you know, like.
Sure.
So like
Yeah.
that could just give reason to why he's so scared of like change. Why he's so scared of like little anomalies.
So what would you think then? Maybe the werewolf and vampire girl fall in love, and it's like such an abomination that the Volturi take them down.
I don't even.
I
Just
wouldn't
go that
all
way.
I don't think it
details-
even needs to be about love.
Yeah, I think all the details can be like worked out, but
I wouldn't make it about love or about
No,
like,
really, the Twilight
we-
video game has
I-
nothing to do with love.
absolutely not. No,
Probably not.
I think literally the fact that Edward and Bella came up at all ever is one because of a unique set of powers. Like what's his name, the guy that plays Qui-Gon Jinn. I have a unique set of skills.
Liam Neeson.
Because of the unique set of powers. Like what's it called? Yeah, because the Cullens have like their powers, and they're sought after, but they're peaceful, so they're not a threat to the what's it called? They're not a threat to the Volturi, right? And then it just so happens that a human fell in love with someone of that group. So I think for me, like, it doesn't need to be based in that story at all. It just so happens, like, circumstantially, that a small group of vampires in the U.S., one of them fell in love with a human.
Okay.
And then produced this offspring. Just as random as it is for someone bit a kid without knowing the repercussion and then left that town, and that kid ravaged the town.
Okay.
It's just like, oops. And now there's the rule where we don't bite kids, you know?
Okay.
No matter how sinister you are, like, you won't even be able to take the kid out
Yeah.
if that kid ever decided that you were a problem, right? So, when, like, personally, I don't think you need to have anything to do with a love story in there. And I think it'd be more interesting, personally.
Maybe.
Or
But
it'd
I
be
think
more,
it just
more to the point. But a love story would be like, if you're a regular character who just so happened to become a werewolf all of a sudden and you had a love story, that would be cool. Like, maybe like 70% of the game, you're trying to figure out like, or like you're figuring out stuff about like, oh, maybe like you find out there's magic, or you find out that something can turn you into a werewolf or something. And you are like the only person at that time who caught on to it, right? And you're just kind of looking into it like haphazardly. And then you get bit, and then like the night you get bit, you like kill your wife. And like maybe you're just married, so it like really stings, right? And then like you wake up the next morning and like naked, and you know you're covered in like, I don't know, dirt and sweat and whatever. And you're like in your house or near your house, or you go home and you're like, what did I do? Like, that was me. Like, you know, like you're following your trails back to where you went that night. And like it completely ruins that human, and that human kind of gives in to the ravaging part, or like the feral part of being a werewolf more. And then that causes the whole problem of like, now vampires find them to be a threat because like this werewolf's causing real problems, and it takes many vampires to kill off a single real werewolf. That would be interesting. So that's my take. I wouldn't make it about a love story like, but you could. I don't think there's any wrong answer there.
I think there
Alright,
has
so-
to be some love element in it if it's the Twilight video
so
game.
Twilight, at the end of the day, though,
I guess if it
Can
has
it
to be
TV?
Twilight in the umbrella, yeah, it
and
has
a
to. Have
TV.
TV?
Well,
Boo.
does it get an approval from Mark? Thumbs up for TV? We can ship it?
Approval?
Green light?
No. If we have it and we can run it, then yes.
No,
But if
yeah,
but
do
like-
you think they could and should make a Twilight TV show?
Could and should. They could.
They would definitely make money off of it. It
I'm
would.
going up to you with the proposal. Mark, you're making the decision.
Okay.
All right, I have an idea for like adapting Twilight movies in the book into a TV show. What do you think?
I'm gonna throw away the Twilight branding.
Well,
You
Well,
can't.
I don't know.
that you can't. That's
I
the
can't.
thing. It's like, okay, let's.
Well, then I was gonna do what I said. Well, we're gonna put Twilight in it, but we're gonna change a lot.
No, we're gonna adapt the movie.
We're gonna adapt the
into
movie.
a TV show.
Then it would be no point. There would be no point.
So
If I can't make changes, then no.
Are you greenlighting it? Well, the movie made changes to. It's an adaptation, a TV show adaptation.
Okay, then I'm gonna make sure that
Like
there's the changes. I'm gonna just say yes. Yeah.
So you do greenlight the TV show.
Yeah, I greenlight the TV
All
show.
right. Anthony, would you greenlight the TV show?
And are you saying we remake the whole story?
TV show adaptation of Twilight.
So you can remake the whole story.
No.
Not remake, like change what it's about. It's just like you're gonna tell the story of Edward and Bella and.
It's an adaptation of the book as a TV show. So what?
I'm gonna say that the answer is yes to that question.
Okay.
Then I would say.
So So as far as the wig is concerned, it can TV.
Yeah.
What's funny is
can you TV?
Originally,
Can
I
you
would say
TV
no,
it?
but if it's like I'm the director of this thing and we're starting from the beginning, then it's like okay.
Yeah. It's gonna
It would
pop
make
off.
money.
It's different.
It's gonna
be
be
different.
pretty popular, I
Like
think.
in Percy Jackson TV show.
Well, the thing is
think about that.
People
versus-
want more Twilight content, even if there's no reason to have it. They're gonna watch
Yeah.
it. Just
Okay.
like all the people that are like, ooh, there's gonna be a live action Avatar.
I would.
There's gonna be a lot of
You're-
buzz.
you're gonna tell me right now.
TV show also. So it's a 3 out of 3. Wig says it can TV. Now
When Jay was here the first time talking about it, I was in the ballpark of no. But if it's an adaptation that gets retold, but same general plot, same general lore.
it's gonna be the same stuff from the book, just probably more accurate to the book and with different acting and directing.
Yeah.
Might as
Then
well.
it
It's
would-
probably,
yeah.
of course,
Just
it's gonna
like, again,
probably
I
be
think
successful.
Take Percy Jackson.
But
Take
in
the
real
movie, take
life-
the TV show.
I agree.
Real life,
Yeah, yeah.
y'all, it's going to tank and be a failure. I just want you to know that.
Ooh,
Oh.
I don't think so.
Yo, I
Well,
mean, you
mean,
gotta
it
have
depends on
some.
who's doing it.
Here's the thing. I don't get why Hollywood is so averse to hiring fans, not actual, like just someone off the street fans. Like, hire a director, hire a writer who likes the series. Just
It's
so
hard
they can.
to prove that, isn't it?
No, well, they go out of their way to be like, do you know what Twilight is? No. Perfect, you're hired.
Yeah, really.
They do that. They do that. Like with Avatar or with whatever series that's super popular, Witcher. They hated that Henry Cavill is such a fan of The Witcher. They hated that so much. They only picked him because people really wanted him.
Yeah, because he loves the freaking.
No, but that's not why they picked him. They
I know.
picked him because the fans wanted him. They
Oh,
didn't pick
interesting.
him
And then he
because he was a
turned out
fan.
to be-
He turned out to be a huge fan,
Well,
and he was being nitpicky about it. Like, oh well, Geralt wouldn't do this. Geralt wouldn't do that. Geralt, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
Geralt. See, I'm not a fan. They don't hire me.
No, what's
Witcher
funny
fans.
is I was watching an interview and I don't remember if he was a mega fan before or after he got the job, but he was talking about, I think it was before, maybe, but I think it was recent. That's all I'm trying to say. But somewhere between him getting the job and maybe before, he was like playing the Witcher games, and he played them all the way through, and he was like, they're insanely good. Like,
And then he read all the books.
It's obviously it's like one of the greatest games, literally of gamehood period, and probably like, well, yeah, I would even say storytelling, one of the greatest stories. But yeah, it's one of the highest rated games of all time, and he's playing it and he's paying attention, and he's doing all of these things, and he's like, this game it's so deep, and he's like, there's so many layers, and
he read
it's
all the
so
books as well.
immersive. He's like, if you leave anything out, it's a disservice. And I'm like, finally, if a single actor, one person reading the book who's in the film's production at all, just had the same amount of care to the story that they're telling, which what is an actor's job but not to story tell, then why wouldn't you bring your A game to following what the lore is about and continuity?
I would highlight though.
Cough, cough, Avatar, cough, cough.
You also have to worry about the distinction between someone that's obsessed or a fanatic of the media versus someone that appreciates the media.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
meant.
If you have
Of
someone
course.
that's a fanatic, like how I kind of viewed, like there are some people that want to mold a thing that they like to their image, like Ryan Johnson with Star Wars just kind of was like, well, I want the things in the universe to kind of work like this. and it threw a bunch of Star Wars fans for a loop because he's like, well, I like Star Wars, but I want to change it a bit. And the people that appreciate the content are the ones that more so add the little things to make you feel comfortable, like this is the universe. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, even little things like in the Avatar adaptation that I really liked was like they put the comet in the background on the night Aang left. So he wouldn't have really noticed or cared. Like he didn't notice the comet. It was like right when it arrived. Like he was fleeing.
No, I mean that was the whole reason for the festival. He knew about the comet. The comet was just there because that was the setting.
Oh, I thought the festival was like a yearly or like every few years kind of a festival.
No, I think. Oh, okay. The festival, yes.
It's like every 5 or 10 years.
Coincided with Sozin's comet.
Yeah, so I like whatever the reason was that they put the comet in, it made so much sense for the story as a whole. It's not something they had ever before. It's not something that was necessarily needed or not needed, but it made a lot of sense. And it ties into like, you might think nothing of this little twinkle in the sky, but you're completely wrong. I would also say the only issue I had with the comet is that in the show, the comet is like massively taking up the entire sky. That makes me feel like it's going to directly impact the firebending.
Well, they called it the Comet Festival.
Whatever.
But that's the thing. If they get together to have a celebration, it would have to be more often.
Like I said, whatever the reason was, if it was not every few years, if it was like because of this specific event, cool.
Right. But the fact that you put it there.
Yeah,
it was
but I'm saying, but like the only issue I would have, and it's not even something I'd complain about much, is like that comet should be ripping through the sky like the way it did in the show. Just it wasn't as impactful, but it doesn't need to be either. Like it's okay.
Really quick though,
the show really emphasized it.
To bring it back to Twilight, so League thinks it can TV. League 3. Twilight video game. Mark, I come up to you. I have a Twilight video game concept.
Yeah.
It's what we talked about. The concept, not the further expansion that we did, like children or whatever. Okay. Do you, as a person that like it has a trademark or whatever for Twilight, green light this?
The initial concept of being a wolf or being a vampire.
Yeah, and then doing whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll say yes.
Sure.
All right, I say no.
You say no.
So 2 out of 3. Wig says it can game, but I don't think Twilight.
I don't know who would play it.
The fact that I think part of the problem.
No one would play it.
I think part of the problem is actually the fact that that people would think this much going into the game. Like, well, there has to be romance. Well, there has to be certain things. Twilight is just the backdrop. The game sounds like it would basically have almost nothing to do with the original series other than the concept. Yeah. And people might expect or want that, and I feel like there would be people trying to funnel feed things or references from it, which would just take away from the game. So I think that it would be a no-go. I wouldn't approve of it.
Well, wouldn't it be similar to Hogwarts Legacy where, like, we use the backbone of the lore, but, like, I don't think anything in Legacy has anything to do with Harry Potter.
So what is Harry Potter about?
Harry Potter is about...
it is about Harry.
But like...
The wizard, the magical...
Yeah, well, Voldemort.
What is Twilight about?
It's about that love story.
A love story primarily.
Yeah.
Right? So with Hogwarts Legacy, we're like, well, we're going to Hogwarts at a different time. Yeah. And it's like, that's the backdrop. So you're just kind of like, okay, cool. They didn't have some kind of thing with it, but I feel like for Twilight, because of how it is, it's more likely that people are going to try to, like, shove things into it.
Right. Unnecessarily.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing, though.
My logic. Even though I would love the concept of that game, it's like, I'm just choosing whether or not to greenlight it. I'm not going to be able to...
I can't create it.
I'm not controlling.
I just say yes or no if it gets made or not.
If you think it should be.
Sure. Then, that's the thing, though.
I don't think it's a wrong answer to say also a green light, by the way. I'm not trying to convince you.
I'm right, no. My reasoning. But, like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like...
If the game is good, I think people will come. Even if there's forced romance. As long as the story checks out.
Well, if there's forced romance, doesn't that make the game less good?
Yes,
but
if romance, the game itself
I think you should have it be available.
People are going to play it.
There are plenty of games that are good plays, but people don't buy.
That is true. I wonder what's a good game with a terrible story.
There's a reason that we can't answer that.
Good game, terrible.
Albion.
Good game, terrible story.
Good game with a terrible story.
Well, is the story bad? Not necessarily.
Pac-Man.
Yeah, but that's one of the most iconic games of all
Donkey
time.
Kong.
Way to checkmate Jay on his own.
Donkey Kong is a pretty good story.
Wait,
Is it a good story?
I mean, it's not a complicated story.
What's that super sexual story on the GameCube or the
super sexual story?
There's a super sexual game. You're like a squirrel or something.
Oh, that's on the 64.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conkers, yeah, that game. Terrible story. Stupid story.
You know the story?
What is the story?
I watched a part of it.
I've seen clips and I've seen my cousin play through it, but I don't remember what the story was.
I was on a dating app once, and this girl, she had like a cosplay outfit in one of her pictures, and then all the other pictures were relatively normal.
Okay.
And I was like, we were talking about video games, and I was like, oh, I see you cosplay. Like, do you ever like cosplay video game? Do you like any video games, whatever? And she was like, I grew up playing the shit out of Conkers. And I was like, okay.
Interesting.
And then I looked up the game, and I was watching the gameplay, and I was like, what the fuck is this game about? And I was like, how old were you? She was like, I started playing when I was like 4. And I was like, oh my God.
Kids were playing that.
Yeah, I will say this. Conkers,
Suffice to say,
Conkers had good gameplay at the time period, because it was literally based off of Super Mario 64.
Yeah, I thought it was 64.
It looked like it,
yeah. So like
or Zelda.
Yeah, so it was using like that. And then, I mean, I don't imagine the story was very deep.
No.
As far as the game is concerned.
I mean, it was crass and,
but a lot of the games like that at the time weren't really that deep. Like, the deepest would have been, like, Ocarina of Time?
Yeah.
And that was also still more so back.
Yeah, and yeah.
Does Doom have a good story? Because I know everybody loved Doom and Wolfenstein.
Yeah, shoot 'em up.
There's no story. Kill demons.
It's like Fortnite.
Yeah.
Doom didn't really
Fortnite has a terrible story.
Didn't the demons killed his rabbit, and he's like, I hate all demons.
Oh, Minecraft also has a terrible story.
He killed his rabbit.
Does Minecraft have a terrible story?
Yeah. There's no story. It's
just when it first had a story, in my opinion, I thought it was a pretty terrible story.
It had a story.
Story mode is like you go and you do these random missions. You kill the Ender Dragon. Like, it's not really a story.
What leads
it's
up
a
to
set
that?
of activities.
It's a set of activities.
It's like an adventure mode. It's like saying Melee has a story mode, because you go and fight Master Hand, but that's more of like, it's called adventure mode.
It's venture mode.
Yeah.
But there is not really a story.
There's not really a story.
So, like, I guess, like, the problem is this game would probably be story driven.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, like, you can't be, like, the gameplay in my head and the concept sounds good, but I'm like, 1, you can still mess that up, and 2, I feel like with the Twilight brand specifically, someone's gonna hire someone that's gonna pull a Kathleen Kennedy.
How's Bannerlord on story?
How's Bannerlord? You create your own story.
That's cool.
Yeah, like, it's kind of like, technically Minecraft is kind of like that, where they're like, yeah, so you have to defeat the Ender Dragon. However you get to doing it, technically speaking, that's how you do it. And then
Rocket League has a terrible story.
Yeah, it does. No. Bannerlord is like, okay, you have a couple of choices. You can reunite this empire that doesn't exist anymore, or you can wipe out its remnants, or you can just do something else, like go make your own kingdom, conquer everyone, or just become a bandit king.
How do you feel about Dota's story?
Dota's story, it has really deep lore with no actual discerning ending. But unless we're counting the show, but even then, that's only part of the story.
Dota show is actually goated, first of all.
Yeah. So but again, just coming back, I would probably not greenlight it, but you guys would. I don't think it would be bad per se. I just think that there would be a lot.
If I was straight to the app director for the game, I could turn it into something.
I think if you have it in the right hands, but I would just be like, no, I don't trust you guys.
Yeah.
So that wraps up the story time, and then